Hey everybody, what's going on? George, the Disney Italiano, coming to you with another Citrico Central Live. I got my good friend, Mr. Theme Park Conductor, joining me today. And thank you. I had to realize what you did. I thought you actually flipped me the bird. Um, but anywho, okay, so we're already starting off out of the gate, as I always do in Disney Italiano fashion. So today we're going to talk all about day one recap of Destination D23, and I'm just like trying to like process everything that's been going on because we were anticipating on not a whole lot of announcements, but maybe like some small ones here or there. I have to say, I'd say right now, at least for day one, we got some beefy announcements for the studios and a little bit for the parks and experiences. So we definitely have enough to chew on to dive into. But before we do, conductor, thank you so much for joining me today. Always a pleasure having you on.
Absolutely. It's such a great time. And God, it feels like I just saw you yesterday, celebrating your wonderful birthday, which was an absolute amazing time with you and Abby and all of our great friends, OG, Webba, Tommy Toon World, and, you got Cannon Camper, Tones, everybody. It was such an amazing time, and I had a blast. But you can find me, Theme Park Conductor, on YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok at Theme Park Conductor. You can also find me on X at Theme Conductor. You can also find me every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Conductor Sunday live stream, where I have George and so many other amazing guests as we talk about all the theme parks, Universal, Disney, and all the amazing news and HHN that's coming up. So cannot wait.
Awesome, absolutely, and Mademoiselle in the house, welcome in, and thank you so much. Yeah, we try to do our best. As I said, I do love playing host. I'm like the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, the host with the most, So I love that. So really quick before we get into, because we got a lot to dive into. So this is going to be a lengthy live, folks. So bear with us. So I just have to actually bring this up. Johnny Ace, Destination D23, more like disappointment D23. Honestly, Johnny, I have to respectfully disagree. I think honestly, it was more than what I was expecting. To be honest, like I was expecting a disappointment D23, and I know it's probably not a lot that you would think that they would have announced, but I feel like they're going to save the big things for next year's D23, which we are going to get into that in a little bit. Now, also too, Johnny, remember there is still one more day, and I think they leaned more towards the studio. They did trickle in some park stuff, but it was more on the studio side. But tomorrow there is going to be a villains panel from 9:05 a.m. Eastern time to I believe 9:50 a.m. Eastern. So that's going to be a 45-minute panel, all about the villains. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can hear more on the villains land. But I do respectfully understand your frustration, Johnny. I know we always like when we have these things, we always expect like some sort of big announcement, like a possible like Tomorrowland, facelift and all that. That would have been really cool. There is going to be some change in Tomorrowland, and again, we will dive into it all. So please bear with us. But before we do, conductor, let me ask you because I've literally been following the coverage since 7 a.m. This morning, and I know like you were like looking into like the news here or there, but like just coming off of day one, what were your expectations? And from what you do know and what was announced, did it exceed your expectations? Did it hit below the belt? Where do you stand with it?
So as we get into this live stream, because like you said, you've been covering it since 7 a.m. our time on the West Coast. So as you talk about everything that was announced, I'll give my opinions on it. But from the one thing I zoned in on, because you texted me about it, was the Walt animatronic which you actually, I'm giving you 100% credit because you mentioned it right before we went on live. You called it a year ago, that we were going to see a Walt animatronic, not only for our opera house for, the magical life show, but the fact that it's being replicated, and you called it. Shout out to you for calling it out, and
Thank you.
absolute great job. I had a feeling they were gonna make another Walt animatronic, and the fact that they're gonna put it in their Carousel of Progress show is very exciting. My only question to that is the facial features gonna be different from what we have out here in Anaheim?
So I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you anyway for
Sure.
the compliment. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, for some reason I just hit. It may not be like the big news, but for some reason I hit those little nuggets of news. And Disney, you're welcome. I'll take the residual check. I'll be in Disneyland tomorrow, so just leave the check at City Hall. I'll pick it up. But in any case, to your concern with that, actually, I talked to OG earlier, and we were discussing that. And unfortunately, I tried getting OG on the live as well, but unfortunately, the timing just wasn't right. So unfortunately, he won't be joining us. But we'll definitely be doing more content here on Citrico Central and on Orange Grove 55. So he will be joining at some point with that. But anyway, I was on the phone with him and we were talking, and he asked me that, and I said, honestly, they could either do one of two things. They can either improve on what they missed with the Disneyland version, or we get sort of something the same as Disneyland, because I get that there was a lot of backlash with the Walt animatronic at first, but it seems like it kind of like fallen off, like all the hysteria. I feel like once everyone kind of said their piece, got their frustration out, their time of the month was over, all that good jazz. Like, it seems like it kind of quiet down a bit, and everyone is entitled to their opinion, whether or not that, Walt Disney still looks like the pillow guy, but I think honestly it's going to be a little bit of a mixture of both. I think it's still going to have the reminiscent of the Walt Disney animatronic, but I think they will maybe touch upon some things that they missed, and that leads to them going back to the Walt animatronic here at Disneyland and reworking that as well.
Definitely.
And if they do, that is good that they have the rotating once they bring Lincoln back.
Sure.
Because they could still keep the Opera House open and they work on Walt while the Lincoln show is going on.
Definitely. One thing I would like to see Destination D23 going forward is, because how long is it? Is it 3 days just like D23 is out here in Anaheim?
So Destination D, some of them did have a 3-day. Normally it's 2. Now,
Okay.
they usually say 3 days, like for when people arrive, like they'll let them like walk through like the archives or go into the shop Disney and kind of stuff. But as far as like the presentations and the panels, it's usually 2 days. It's usually like a Saturday and a Sunday.
Okay. So one thing I would like to see is something, like a third day. And this would be in one of their banquet hall rooms or whatever the biggest room they use out there for that event for presentations. And one thing I would like to see on the third day is all about the parks, but it's already projects they already announced at D23, and just showing progress on what stage they are on each project that they announced for the parks. So that way, kind of people that are, feel like they're paying so much at the theme parks, but they don't know exactly why, kind of like us theme park nerds. I would like to see them come up with a third day and just basically go into detail. Hey, this is what stage we are at with these projects. So that way they, people that go to that, they could say, okay, there's actual progress happening. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? There's actual clarification, and leave D23 for Anaheim. Leave that for the big announcements, the new announcements. That way, there's not any wasting of time saying, "Oh yeah, we're at this stage with Avengers Campus, or we're at this stage with the Lion King and Disneyland Paris." It's all new stuff, and Destination D23 is more of, okay, this is the progress we're at, to kind of give people that information.
I agree. We have a mutual friend, which I won't give out their name, but they were they were saying the same thing kind of you were saying, like
Sure.
they should kind of like separate and divide what is D23 and what could possibly be like another kind of format of an event, because when people hear the term D23, and this is actually to Johnny's statement for disappointment, in a way, even though I respectfully disagree at some point, but I can understand where he's coming from.
Sure.
Because when you hear the term D23, in your head, you're automatically thinking, oh, this is going to be big. We're going to get big news. So then when you kind of get the lower spectrum of news, people are like, oh, man, that was like, what kind of D23 event was that? So like, they really should just kind of title D23 for that ultimate Disney fan event where they add everything, and then Destination can be something a little bit completely different, as you were saying, like as an updated kind of thing. But Shane Arani, did you see that drink for the Doctor Strange Lounge? I did, and don't worry, folks, bear with us. We are going to cover it all. So actually, I'm going to share my screen right now because we have a lot, and when I say a lot, I mean a lot to get through here. Now, all this is not in order. This is everything that I've been covering and sharing with our mutual friends throughout the day who are actually there at the event and just covering it as well. So kind of starting off at the top. Now, again, this is in no particular order. So this is courtesy of Boardwalk Times. New concept art for Napa Rose at Disney's Grand Californian Resort and Spa. What do you think of this? Because Napa Rose has been down for a while. What do you think of this?
Okay, so it's interesting to me. It's very high class, very high end. I love the wood. I love the aesthetics of it, because I know it's your new favorite hotspot in the Grand Californian. What's the restaurant? I forgot. It's
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone. This kind of gives me that Hearthstone vibe.
Which, by the way, you gave me kudos. I have to give you kudos because, as I said, if it wasn't for you, that restaurant literally became my crack. So,
yeah, But looking at these pictures, if we can go back to the other one just for a second, that other picture, looking on the inside, like I said, I love the wood. I love how they tie. I love how the lighting fixture really, like, it draws you in. And then just, those wine racks on either side, the fact that you have kind of like an open kitchen type aesthetic. So, because a lot of people get entertained for some reason, they get entertained watching an open kitchen, watching the chefs make the food and whatnot. I think that's wonderful. What do you think about that?
I actually dig it. I mean, I know a lot of people were kind of criticizing it, but I feel like if the aesthetics and, as you had mentioned, like the wood and the carving and everything, it really fits in with the decor already placed in the Grand Californian. Sure. And you're right, it does give me that Hearthstone kind of vibe, but just a little bit more upscale, but it does give off that energy, and I like that. And then coming to like the outdoor patio where they kind of have like the lighting with the vines wrapping around the building. I hope that's just not for show. I hope they actually have the vines wrapping around. Like that would be really cool. And you can kind of see, I don't know if anyone could see my cursor, but you can see Grizzly River in the distance right there. And if they can hit that, oh man, talk about a scenic like perfection.
Oh, 100%. And I love that brickwork on the outside as well. You know, this is kind of remind me if they have the vines, like you're saying, if they have the vines going up the rafters and the pillars and whatnot, it actually reminds me of that winery inside DCA where you can actually dine in. That's
Yes,
what
it
this is,
does.
you know, shouting to me and vibes. So I like that.
And I love how you're right, and I love how they kind of kept that, because that's one thing that DCA really did well, was the architectural wise between Grand Californian and like Grizzly River and like the winery kind of like Northern California feel. They've hit that out of the park since DCA 1.0. And I hope that they never lose that, because that's the one thing that they have for the park, that I think anyways. Let's see. Now, okay, so now we're getting into the territory here. This is coming from Drew, the Disney dude. Breaking: Walt Disney World teases more changes to Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress at the Magic Kingdom. There are still plenty of additional details to be revealed, including what John, Sarah, and the rest of the family are up to. Now, this is interesting because they were kind of teasing a little bit when Imagineering, I think I was on the phone with you when I sent you the little clip when Imagineering was walking through the Carousel of Progress. And I sent you that video, and it was like a little video clip, and it was an Imagineer like with the construction jacket on and the hard hat. And I sent you that, and I said, why in the world are they going through the Carousel of Progress? Well, now we know why, because on top of the Walt animatronic being added to the Carousel of Progress, they're also updating the attraction in general. They're going to like update, I guess, the previous scenes that are already there with John and the family, which is great. And the Walt Disney audio animatronic, Imagineer Chris Beatty confirmed that it's going to be a fifth scene that's going to be added to the show at the very end before you disembark out into the park again. So the show is getting extended with the Walt Disney audio animatronic. They're adding more, I guess, different scenes to the original show. So this clarifies, and even OG said it when I was talking with him, the Carousel Progress is here to stay. And I'm glad. I like that. The fact that they're giving this attraction TLC and they're expanding it, not just with anything, but with a Walt Disney audio animatronic, that really shows that Disney still loves this attraction. The Imagineers love this attraction, and they want it to keep on going for generations to come. Quoting actually Chris Beatty himself, and that's what he said. So I'm thrilled with this.
You know, it's interesting to me because, like you said, you know, they love it. They don't want to get rid of it. They're investing in it. The fact that they're adding a Walt animatronic, just like the one we have in Anaheim, and what has me more curious about that fifth scene that they're adding to the show is, are they going to have Walt in his office, or are they going to have a different scene entirely where maybe it shows him walking the studio, or maybe walking down Main Street USA, or maybe even at his apartment? Okay, so there we go.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring it up. So this is now this is courtesy of TPM Vids. So
Yeah.
this is the actual footage of Walt in his blue sweater. Kind of, now this is when he was like talking about, like, you know, the New York World's Fair and what have you, but he also wore this sweater when they were talking about the Florida project. And this is the concept art of what it's going to look like. So basically, this is when you're going to have Walt in the blue sweater, and they're basically showcasing the Florida project. So on here, if you guys can see the cursor, so right here, you see the plans for Walt's vision of Epcot, like the live-in city. Behind him, you have the early models of the monorail that was designed by Bob Gurr. And then you have the Lincoln head model for the animatronic right here. And then over on the right, you can see like a little animatronic bird. So they're going to have an animatronic for an animatronic. So it's basically they're taking you back into the realm of Walt in this kind of like secret op WDI kind of, you know, blue sky stage where they had like an audio animatronic there. So they're going to make an animatronic of an animatronic with Walt as an animatronic. And then right next to that, you can kind of see the little mini model of It's a Small, or not It's a Small World, but the I forget the name of it, like the pillar thing that was supposed to be that they had for the New York World's Fair.
Yeah.
And then you see like all the sketches and like the paintings and the blueprints and the pencils and inks and all that. So this is basically what the final scene is going to look like in Carousel of Progress.
Okay, so the one thing I'm hoping, and I'm sure I'm right, with the Carousel of Progress, I hope, and don't get me wrong, you know, after watching the Walt show at the Opera House multiple times, don't get me wrong, I love the history that they showed. The only thing I could say now, because I like George said right at the beginning, I kind of got over what his face looked like. I really don't care at this point. I think it looks good for what they came up with. But the thing is, I kind of wish they did like half and half, where they still showed the history, but you know, they had more of Walt talking, moving around, just telling the audience what he was up to in his office. Because I kind of felt they showed the video clip more than they did him speaking, sitting up from his desk. So I'm hoping this is the opposite effect. I hope they show more of him speaking to the audience, moving around. Maybe, I don't know, maybe since you have the bird there, maybe go pet the bird or something, because you can obviously tell by the animatronic we have out here, it's capable of moving, like it's not stagnant. So
yeah. Now I do agree with you. I would love to see more of Walt actually in animatronic form. Now the reason why I think maybe they went the route to have like a shorter time for the animatronic is that, God forbid, if the show would happen to go down,
sure.
or if the Walt animatronic could only function in short periods of time, they probably kept it at that kind of like as a safety net, that if the show had to go down, that they can get through one whole spiel and then reset it in case if something were to go down. Because we did have an issue with the Walt animatronic the first day where he stood up and everything just shut off. And I think Disney's trying to really kind of stay away from that as much as possible.
Well, definitely. And the Carousel of Progress, at least out in Walt Disney World, and that's something that I have to add to my list when we're out there in March, is the fact that it seems like this show is better equipped to handle the Walt animatronics, since you have other animatronics in different scenes that do full motion, they talk, they interact with the guests. So I kind of feel like the Walt animatronic, even though it's a newer generation of animatronic, I kind of feel like it's going to do a lot better at the carousel. Maybe not at first, because I don't want to put it high scale and then stuff happens. But I think it's going to be it's going to work better at the carousel than maybe at the Opera House out here in Anaheim at Disneyland. That's my prediction.
I think so, because I feel like they kind of utilize that as a beta tester, sort of, to see how people like react to it. And I think it, aside from the fandom like giving it a little bit of an uproar, I feel like that majority of the people visiting just as day-to-day guests reacted to it really well. And I feel like putting it in Walt Disney World is going to give it an even bigger effect, because right now there's more tourism in Walt Disney World than Disneyland.
Definitely.
So a lot more people are going to be able to see this audio animatronic in the form of Walt Disney.
And just to add add my end piece to that. The one thing I can say is I love that he's going to be in a different outfit. He's
Mhm.
going to be in a different scene, and his speech is going to be different. So it's not a carbon copy and paste. So I love that.
Yeah, I completely agree. Okay, so moving down, again, compliments of Drew, the Disney dude. New concept art for Cask and Cannon, the Pirates of the Caribbean themed lounge coming to the Disney Destiny cruise ship. And this is the piece of artwork of what it's going to look like. And I have to say, I love what Disney is doing with these themed lounge bar areas inside the cruise ship. They kind of kicked it off with like the hyper space lounge for Star Wars on the Wish, and then they moved along with the Haunted Mansion parlor on the Treasure. Now they're doing Pirates of the Caribbean on the Destiny. I absolutely love the theme. I do. I think honestly these are like tremendous hits, especially because we get this kind of theme in the theme parks, like with Oga's Cantina and now the new Beacon Barrel at Magic Kingdom. But it's nice to see that they still bring that creative storytelling aboard their ships as well.
You know, it's very interesting to me because you hit it right on the head. The fact that you have something like this, and it shows that Disney's kind of it's reaching back into its original IPs, like you said, the Haunted Mansion parlor. Now you have a Pirates themed bar, and it's all on their cruise lines, which is a great thing. Because I can't imagine there's too many kids nowadays that doesn't know what Haunted Mansion is, doesn't know what Pirates is, or even adults. But if they don't, and they go on these cruise ships and they see something like that, that's just another incentive to go visit the parks and see it more in person and be immersed more. So one thing I don't know if the Haunted Mansion bar does this, but one thing I would like to see, because it looks like it's almost like a bar slash restaurant, is character interactions while you're in that bar slash restaurant. That's something I would like to see more if they're gonna put more of these restaurants slash bars into their cruise ships based off Disney IP. I would personally like to see that, like that new bar you're talking about at the Magic Kingdom. I would like to be, having a drink, and all of a sudden Captain Jack comes out of nowhere, starts hootering and hollering. I thought that would be amazing. That would be fun.
That would be like an extra kind of like oomph,
Yeah,
into the storytelling. I actually would like that myself. I think that would give not just the aesthetics, but more like of an actual storyline
sure.
mixed with it while you're having a drink or you're having a snack or what have you. Now, I do want to mention too, the viewers, don't worry, we will get to the chat. There's just a lot we have to cover. So we're going to cover this all for you, and we will get to the chat. We'll answer any questions, thoughts, opinions, concerns. So I just want to let you all know that we're not ignoring you, but there's just a lot. Surprisingly, there is a lot that came out just today. Now, along with the Pirates of the Caribbean pub, first look at the Poseidon mug and Siren mug coming to the Haunted Mansion parlor on the Disney Destiny this November. Now, the Haunted Mansion parlor is on the Treasure, but it's also going to be on the Destiny, and I think these are like really cool.
Those are awesome.
Like these are something, believe it or not, I thought that you would kind of see at Universal. Like
Yeah,
I feel like this would be more of a Universal thing. So kudos to Disney for kind of like going like off the edge and give us something a little bit more edgier. I like that.
definitely. Great
And
detail.
it is very, very much detail. And then there was the tree Christmas tree truck bucket coming to Disneyland, Alani, and on select Disney Cruise Line ships.
Nice.
People are going to go all gaga for that.
Oh, does that mean we're gonna see that show up in Tomorrowland too? The land of the popcorn buckets, as I like to call it.
I guess so. Like, now this one's interesting. This is a first look at the Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar Holiday Zombie. Now, again, this is something that I would expect from Universal, but Disney's going all out on this. They're going balls to the wall on these.
Wow, that looks impressive.
Let's see, and then right here, I want to make sure it's not going to give me the volume's down. But there is kind of like a little sneak peek of the this year's Haunted Mansion Holiday Gingerbread House.
I do have to say, when I rode through that thing was absolutely spectacular. That thing was awesome.
I love how they literally create something new.
Yeah,
like each year. I absolutely love that.
There you go.
And then here you go, the Monsters Inc. Scream Canister Bucket and Little Green Men Jetpack Sipper coming at Disney Parks and Disney Cruise Line. I feel like, honestly, people are going to buy this little guy, no doubt about it. But I have a feeling people are going to go for the canister, because I've noticed already that people are going for the Emperor's New Groove, the flask with the potion that turns Cusco into a llama. It seems like they like the set piece things rather than the characters.
Definitely, 100% on that.
And then there was just some like extra things. They had Chip and Dale Ott doing the Jingle Bells during the Disney Eats presentation.
That's cool.
And then this is also part of the Disney Cruise Line. This is Disney Cruise Line shared the first look, and this is what Shane Narani was talking about, at new drinks coming to the Disney Destiny this November. Mirror Dimension at the Sanctum, the Chilling Challenge, My Way at the Haunted Mansion Parlor, and Dead Man's Chest at Cask and Cannon. Now, I believe it's the Mirror Dimension at the Sanctum. That drink, and I think it's this one, I think they had a little video thing on it where it actually levitated.
Interesting. Okay, so that right there. So for at least two of them, I haven't really figured out the third one yet. That one right there kind of reminds me from Pirates.
Yeah, so that's like the Dead Man's Chest. That's going to be the specialty drink for that.
Yeah.
This one is the Haunted Mansion one, the Chilling Challenge.
That one I haven't quite figured. This one, okay. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm getting that light effect. I don't know if it's just how they did the graphic design, or if that's how it actually is going to look when you get that drink. But it's screaming to me either Back to the Future vibes, or it's screaming Ghostbuster vibes to me.
It really does. Yeah, like that's the Doctor Strange one. But yeah, you're right. It does give off that like Ghostbusters kind of or Back to the Future kind of thing. Yeah, Disney's been kind of hitting like with this kind of like Universal kind of drinks and merch. And again, I actually like that, because they're not necessarily taking away from Universal, but they're making it their own with their own IP.
Yeah,
and
a new perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, and that was just the Jollywood Nights. That's coming to Hollywood Studios. Now, this one is not really like proclaiming for us, but it's a piece of news. This is going in the Hong Kong Disneyland on September 12th. This is the Moana themed restaurant, Wayfinder's Table, which I'm guessing I don't know if it doesn't look like it looks like it's a sit down, but it looks like it's a quick service sit down, like of how you could see the people kind of standing with their trays and stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's going into Hong Kong, but I feel like there's going to be more on the horizon for Moana in the future for our Disney parks.
You know what's funny about that picture? It kind of tells a story. Either way it can go. It's kind of taking a little bit from the tiki room that we have at Disneyland, just
Mhm.
how the building and some of the outside plants and little structures they have. But like you said, it's also Moana too. So I kind of like that they're pulling from multiple IPs and then putting one IP into that, but they're taking different ideas and different, structural um, buildings that are currently in the Disney parks and kind of making something new out of it, even though you can kind of tell a little bit. I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, I like that as well. Again, it's like it's in detail, but it's like very like subtle. It's like not like in your face. Um, oh, really quick. So this is from Mickey News from Braden. Now I know we talked about the Walt animatronic, but I just want to put it in his words since he was the one that kind of gave us the little hint for the Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. And it says breaking: Walt is coming to Walt Disney World's Carousel of Progress. Walt will host the pre-show scene and may even appear in a new fifth act during the unload sequence. Oh, okay. So there's a possibility Walt may be in two scenes, in the beginning and the end. So technically, this is going to be in the beginning.
Interesting.
So that's going to be, and then possibly a fifth act. Walt is just one part of the complete mechanical overhaul of the attraction with story updates as well. And I'm so glad that hopefully, when we go down next year, that we'll be able to catch the Carousel of Progress in its original format before it goes down. Because I think we'll still have time. I would think so. I don't think they're going to take it out just yet. Here was this was courtesy of Scott Gustin. A new look at one of the magical drinks that will be featured in the Sanctum on the Disney Destiny. Yeah, see, it has like a lightning effect.
That's dope.
And then it's levitating.
What? I love that. That is so awesome. Wow. You know that drink's going to cost a lot, but it's definitely worth the experience. 100%.
It is so cool.
That is so amazing. Wow. I love that.
Yeah, for how much it probably costs after I drink it, I hope I piss out gold.
Yeah. They just.
Oh.
Interesting. Okay.
Wow, that thing is very complex.
Yeah. So it kind of reminds me, I don't know if you've ever been to like a carnival or something like that, but a lot of carnivals and swap meets, they have like these, they kind of have like these almost like rectangular glass. And then in the glass, there's an image etched in there. And usually you could buy they sell like the little platform and it has little lights in the platform and it illuminates that etched image in the glass. So not this part, but what the other gentleman did with that lighting effect, that's kind of what it reminds me of with the glass sitting on that white platform. That's what it reminds me of.
Okay, yeah, I just love how the complexity to make the drink, and then it levitates, and then you put it on this other platform and then you could just touch it, and it like creates like a heated effect through your fingers.
That is so cool.
That is really cool. Like obviously, as you said, that's going to be expensive, but I hope it's not too expensive where we all can kind of like enjoy that, and like be able to experience that, because I think somebody had mentioned in I don't know if it was in the chat or in somewhere that they said they hope that it would they would bring that to like Avengers Campus, like just the drink, like that would be really cool.
Because we have an outdoor bar for Pym Test Kitchen, so that would be a perfect location for that.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And then, okay, now this one was interesting. So this was during the Disneyland little segment, and it was hosted by Disney producer Don Hahn and director, writer, producer Leslie Iwerks, and they had released that there's going to be a Disney documentary that's going to be released. It's going to be called Disney Handcrafted. It will showcase hand-picked, rarely seen footage from the excitement around the construction of Disneyland more than 70 years ago. And here are some still photographs that they utilized at the event.
I can't wait to see that.
So basically, it's not. I was kind of anticipating that we would get the Imagineering story season 2, but I think we still will. I think she's just waiting on getting more beef, so to speak. To add more for season 2. But in the meantime, I think this is going to be an awesome documentary.
100%. Wow. I cannot wait to see that. Speaking of that, did they even hint at a date that we could possibly see that on Disney Plus yet?
What? I don't. Let me see. I'm going to actually click the link here real quick. Let's see.
Just curious.
Disneyland Handcrafted.
Because we all know it's going to go on Disney.
Coming this winter.
Okay, got it. Interesting.
Coming this winter.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, so breaking. Leslie Iwerks has a new documentary coming out about the creation of Disneyland. It's called Disneyland Handcrafted, and it will premiere on Disney Plus this winter.
Cannot wait. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be... Let's see. And this really didn't have anything to do with Destination D23, but this was on the feed that Drew shared. The current look at the former Tom Sawyer Island and Rivers of America at Magic Kingdom. Crews are pumping the remaining water out of the river while scaffolding installation begins to block views of the construction. So it's moving. Like it literally, dirt, literally and figuratively are moving.
Well, let me ask you this before we go more into D23, since you showed that.
Yeah.
When we go in March, is it your speculation we could see some type of structure over the construction walls?
Absolutely. I think, honestly, if scaffolding and installation is going to begin pretty soon, and we are going into September.
Yeah.
October, November, December, January, February, March, April, or so 6. Yeah, 6 months. So like in another 6 months, I think we'll see some form of skeletal structure.
Definitely. Well, yeah. The only reason I bring it up is because I'm getting a crack out of how fast the Avengers e-ticket is getting built. It's like almost universal standards. It's actually kind of scaring me a little bit. I'm like, whoa, I've never seen this before. So that's why I just happened to mention that, since you're showing that little clip going through your feed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was worth noting because, as I said, even though it's not Destination D23, I think it was a nice little update just to mention. Now, coming up, I believe that was all the park stuff. Now we're going to be getting into the studio stuff, I believe. But before we do, I'm going to let's check on the chat here.
Sure.
I'll bring that up, and then we'll move on to the studio stuff. So let's see. So Dragon Blood here says, excited for potential Villains Land news tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, early, 9:05 a.m., hopefully within that 45 minutes, they can give us some news on Villains.
Definitely.
Ronnie, Hexed is the animation movie coming in November 2026, but maybe they should think about October 2026. Yeah, we'll definitely get into that, Shane, when we dive into the studio thing, because I actually agree with you on that, based off of what the movie is about. Yeah, Adam, unfortunately, they did not mention anything of a live-action Moana trailer. That would have been nice, I think. Something on that caliber, I think that they're going to wait for the big D23. Or if we get something, they may release like a teaser and then save something big for D23. It's Florentin. The Walt Disney version of the animatronic looks more iconic This time we have a concept art and it looks promising. Yeah, hopefully they can maybe, as I said, tweak a little bit of like what they didn't get to do with Disneyland. Because if they do, then they can go back and rework some of the stuff in the Disneyland Walt animatronic. Let's see. Shane says, I was hoping with the Emperor's New Groove panel, they would announce that the Tropical Americas restaurant was a Kronk restaurant. That would have been funny, and sell those spinach puffs. Let's see. I think I'm more drawn to Walt in that blue sweater, and don't get me started on any Walt Disney World or Epcot poster props.
Oh, boy.
And then we got OG himself in the house. Welcome in, OG. Let's see. What's up, Ray? How's it going?
And one thing I wanted to comment on that first comment you brought up about the villains panel is just so you can remind all of us, that is not going to be live streamed. So whoever's at that panel is watching it. We kind of just have to react from posts.
Yes.
From people that are there.
Correct. Okay. Yeah, and that's why I'm thinking even more that they're going to release villains news, because with that Walt animatronic, that was during a panel that was not live streamed.
Sure.
So this villains one in the morning, 45 minutes, non live streamed. Excuse me. Definitely keep an eye out that there's going to be news broken out with either maybe some video form or even still like concept art or something.
Definitely.
Let's see. OG says, conductor, you ready for HHN? You're going to have to hold on to me. Get ready.
Don't worry. I'm tall enough. I got a big shoulder for you. Don't you worry about that one.
Dang, you're tall enough. Yeah, the scare actors come out, they see you and they run. It's like
pretty much. They're either that or they see me and they're like, oh God, this guy. Okay, we have to maybe just bypass him and get the people that are hovering underneath him. We have to get them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man.
And then we got Cassandra Chamberlain in the house. Welcome in, Cassandra. And then, let's see, just kind of like skimming through, just trying to catch up. Let's see.
And I do believe, if there is news about villains and then other stuff they announce tomorrow, like the Spires panel, you'll probably be doing another live stream possibly tomorrow. So if you do so, I will be available for that.
Absolutely. Awesome. Themersive coming in late. Gotta get caught up. It was hard to figure everything out with this format, but definitely hit some major things in there. Absolutely. Yep. And then let's see. I want to see more on the Avatar land coming to DCA. I did like how much history they threw in this time around. Yeah, and that's the thing, Themersive, that it's really Destination D, because that's what it really was called. It was called Destination D, and then they changed it to Destination D23. That's what it was all about. It was about the history. It was about the nostalgia. It was about going behind the scenes. It was never really about breaking big Disney news announcements. So the fact that they added anything, whatever they do throw in there, I'm happy that they do, because technically it's really not for that. But yeah, it's literally between today, possibly tomorrow, and they did announce a lot. They announced a lot within the last week. I mean, even just like with the Big Thunder Mountain news at Magic Kingdom, the ride vehicles at Buzz Lightyear, and everything. Like, it was just like nonstop announcements. And I'm still holding out hope that tomorrow we're going to get something big, and that's why they released all that news, because they don't want to cram everything in. They want to get the small things out first so we can hit the big stuff. And I think they're going to save the big stuff for last.
Yeah.
Because what was funny was the villains starts in the morning,
Sure.
and the castle presentation is at the end. So I'm wondering if they're going to give us something kind of big to kind of like end the weekend for Destination D.
And Dragon Blood actually commented somewhere, I thought it was Dragon Blood, he was saying, yep, to keep your eyes out for Beyond the Spire, so possibly another big announcement. But one of the biggest takeaways, because obviously the Walt animatronic for the Carousel of Progress was a big one, was the fact that we got dates. And people might not think it's big, but it's big, because I'll tell you why. We got dates for D23 as of today for next year. And let me tell you, folks, me and George back and forth, because I was at work, so I was texting them, calling them, and I tell you what, almost every single hotel within a 5-mile radius of the convention center is almost sold out.
Oh, dude, it was literally seconds when they announced the D23 fan event and they put the dates real big on the screen for all and everyone and their grandmother to see. Literally, while I was watching the event, I was talking to OG. Abby was sitting right next to me. She jumped on her phone and she's like motioning to me, and I'm like, what is she like? I was trying to hear what she was saying, and she's like, everything is sold out. And I'm like, what do you mean everything's sold out? She's like, all the rooms between Harbor and Catella are practically all booked out. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And that kind of worries me, because if people are already booking their rooms for the anticipation of these things, what the hell is it going to be like when the tickets go on sale? See, this is the shit that like hypes up my anxiety. I literally have no anxiety for anything. You could ask Abby, you could ask my mom, you could ask OG. I have no anxiety to anything. I am cool as a cucumber. When it comes to D23, I get freaking panic attacks on this shit. Like,
dude, I tell you, and that's what I mean. And you happen to mention when we're hanging out at Disneyland for your birthday was the fact that, you know, Disney's cracking down on scalpers. So we could see a different change on the tickets. But the fact that Disney has no control about the hotels surrounding the convention center, this is what I think happened. Okay, I think either people out on the East Coast or people connected to the company or, you know, friends of the company, they got the insider tip to book those dates. That's my first guess. The second guess is you had a whole bunch of scalpers, kid you not, you had a whole bunch of scalpers book, like, I would say like an entire floor of the hotel at once. And watch what's going to happen. You're either going to see it on eBay or some of these other websites where they're going to go for triple the price, and they're going to scalp people back into it.
It's funny that you say that, and actually, it's Florentin like says like, no worries, why anxiety when you have Lucas Skin to the rescue. Now here's the thing too, because he had mentioned this too, like with the scalpers, because in a way, the scalpers can help and the scalpers could be a detriment, because here's why. The scalpers actually allowed me and OG to go last year. If it wasn't for the scalpers, that's how we were able to get our tickets, because the system completely crashed on me because I was number 1,709. Yes, folks, I'm going to keep on repeating that number because that was my number. It is ingrained in my brain. 1,709. I'm going to get a tattoo of that number. I'm going to get a tattoo, and people are going to look at that, and they're going to think it's like my cell number or something, because they're not going to understand what the hell that is. But like, it's funny to me because it crashed on me, and then again, that's where we were able to get our tickets. But on the contrary, to the opposite effect, maybe if Disney cracks down on ticket transferring, scalpers won't go in and buy a whole bunch of tickets, and then maybe us as D23 members could actually have a chance at the tickets through directly D23 itself. So there's kind of like a pro and con both way.
Sure.
But I think it would help if they cut down on the third party selling, because if they do not allow name transferring, that's what actually allows scalpers to sell the tickets. Because if you can't change the name on the ticket and a scalper buys 20 tickets, guess what? He has 20 tickets all in his name or her name, and there's nothing he can do about it.
No. See, that's what I mean. Even if it went for D23 members, I could see also Disney limiting the amount of tickets you have. And I know that sounds completely bizarre, like to the fact where it could be like AI type situation, but that could help as well. Because even if you're a D23 member, it might look totally suspicious if a D23 member is buying, let's say, 5-10 tickets. They're going to go, who in the hell is paying that type of money for 5 to 10 tickets? It looks suspicious. So again, I agree with George and so many others about the scalping. But if they are gonna allow scalpers, the only thing I would say, is that they limit the amount of tickets they can buy.
As far as I remember last year, I think they had a maximum you could buy 8 tickets.
Okay, well, I think that needs to go down to 5. Sorry, I'm just being real.
Yeah, I mean, because really, unless you're like the Octomom and you're bringing your kids with you, then you don't really need like that many. I mean, but like I say, like 5 or 6. I mean, I can understand that, because then you would take it like a typical like family. So you would have like the mom, the dad. If you had 3 kids, maybe 4. I would say 4 would be like the max if you were to bring kids. So that's why I would say 6, because then you could even do like a friend's trip. You could do 5 or 6 people like in a bundle. I do agree with you in that sense, because I feel like if it's too many or too much, that's where it becomes overly amount, because then you have this group buying 8, this group buying 8, this group buying 8. Then by the time you go in, and I think that's what happened with me.
Sure.
Chunks of seats were being sold out in seconds because everyone was buying 8 seats to secure them for other people. Now, again, I would do the same, but I think when you're throwing everybody into the lion's den at the same time, it's chaos. And I think that's what they need to do too. They need to start grouping people. So like for people that's like 1 through, I don't know, let's just say 1 through 500. 1 through 500. Whoever is 1 through 500 in the queue, they get their seats. They get checked out. Okay, bring in the next 500. Then bring in the next. When you're bringing in 5,000 to 6,000 people at once, it's a calamity.
Yeah, it's a recipe for disaster. And one thing they can also do to refine it, and it can go both ways. Like it could be judgmental, but it could also help as well. Like with the D23 memberships, and I'm not talking about the complimentary one you get with your Magic Key, which is basically the free one. You really don't see that many benefits with it, but the paid tier D23 tickets or memberships, what I think they should do is they go, section by section of D23 memberships, let those people have a chance, and then they go to Magic Keys. They start from the top, work their way down, and then finally they get to the general admission. And one thing to add on top of that, and me and George were talking about this last night, was the fact that what they could do, since this is just like Oogie Boogie tickets, but a lot worse. I think what they should do, since the main convention is at the Anaheim Convention Center. Obviously, the big presentations are at the Honda Center, and that's another thing as well. And I'll say my piece on that in a second. But the fact that they moved everything online with ticket sales, it's a recipe for disaster. Why not have the best of both worlds? Why not have it online? But also, if people want to wait at 2 in the morning at the Anaheim Convention Center to buy tickets, why not allow them to do so? And then on top of that, with the Honda Center, you and OG were there, so you could clarify this a lot more than I can. But the way they had that set up, do you honestly think they could have had more ticket sales and more seats available if they wanted to? Because that stadium is humongous.
It is. And honestly, there were tons of people there. Don't get me wrong. A lot of seats were filled, but there were a lot of sections that were blocked off that were not used.
Okay.
And I feel like they definitely could have pushed the stage back a little bit, give some extra breathing room, and allow all those seats. I mean, you probably could have fit in another like 500-600 people.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. And, and I'm not saying Disney is cash hungry or, I'm not pointing fingers, but this goes with any company, though, any, corporation, something like that, even like the Apple events in Simi Valley and all that, when they do their yearly Apple events. If they wanted to, they could have worked out a better deal with the Honda Center and allowed more seats to be available. Because, like you said, George, looking from the inside out, you and OG clearly saw there could have been 500 more people into that stadium, and that's 500 more people paying that amount for those seats, which only benefits not only the Honda Center, but it benefits the Walt Disney Company and revenue. So why not allow it?
And honestly, who even knows? They may just do that.
Sure.
They may. Last year was basically the first of its kind. Now they kind of know what they're doing with it. So the fact that it was very popular, the demand was high. There was a lot of disappointing people that didn't get in to the Honda Center. They just very well may push the stage and screen back in order to get max amount of seating. Now, what I would actually do? I'll tell you what the Italiano would do, and Disney takes some notes here. You have a lot of the seats down on the floor, correct? And you could fit a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
I think, honestly, you could fit a lot more in the surrounding upper areas than you ever could do on the floor.
Sure.
I would do a center stage, cut down some of the seating on the floor, have it go around circular. So that way you have a 360 degree that no matter what area you're in, you can see it, whether you're in the back, whether you're on the sides, whether you're on the front. You have a full rotating 360 degree view, sort of like Las Vegas's Sphere, sort of thing. Now, again, I know the Honda Center is not built like that because the Sphere is actually a building designed like that.
Sure.
Wouldn't that be cool if they moved D23 to Vegas and they put that sucker in the Sphere? That would be, woohoo. Wow. Man, Disney, I'm throwing you the ideas. So I'm throwing them out at you. But anyway, if they did a 360 degree center stage,
sure.
Yes, it is going to be cutting a lot of the floor seating. But then you could have not a rotating screen, but you could have a screen on each side of the platform while you have the center stage.
Sure.
And again, it could be not on like the big jumbo screen. It could be like on one of those rolled on screens, that they work just, fine.
Sure.
Where then you can use the whole back area.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't even use. If they did that, even though, again, it would be cutting down a lot of the floor seating, you'd be adding probably double, possibly even tripling the capacity of who could actually get into the Honda Center to watch it.
Oh,
And if they can fit 15 to 1,700 people in there already, if they did that route, you're probably looking at a good 3,500 people that they can get in there.
definitely. Well, see, that's a wonderful idea. The other idea that I had, and I know it sounds completely bonkers, is to either make the stage a lot smaller and not have a center stage at all, and just make the stage where the big screens are at smaller, or they can add those portable screens on the outside, add seating on the outside of the Honda Center with tents and all, or and again, this one is way out of proportion, but the fact that D23 and especially these park announcements get so much attraction from everybody, and I mean everybody. It's not even the theme park nerds like us. It's literally everybody across the world. What if they did the Honda Center, and at the time they did the Honda Center, Angel Stadium was available, and they showed inside during the presentation, and they acquire Angel Stadium as well, because Angel Stadium, I think, is like, it's one of the bigger stadiums, so it could fit, I think, like 30 or 40,000 people.
And the thing is with the Angel Stadium is they have 3 screens.
Yes.
Three or four screens on all directions, and they're much higher because it's a stadium. So the field can practically be the whole entire stage.
Yeah.
You can hold a freaking Cirque du Soleil show on that thing. Where in the Honda Center it is a bit limited. And actually, Abby and I went to, it's called Harvest. It was like part of like a church congregation and everything. And they held it at Angel Stadium. Prior to that, they had it at the Honda Center. And Abby told me it was a mess at the Honda Center compared to Angel Stadium. So even if the Honda Center was a success for the last D23, and it probably will be for this one, I think they can gain a lot more traction. I do agree with you if they have it at the Angel Stadium. Now, again, I get it. It's outdoors in August. It's going to be hot. But do you know what? Normally when they do these presentations, it's when the sun goes down anyway. It's in the evening time. So it'll be much cooler.
That's what I mean. And the fact how Angel Stadium is just constructed, because I've seen it where they've had concerts and whatnot. If you have the big screens, and I'm talking about pushing the screens all the way back to that kind of like that rock, firework area is when, obviously one of the Angel baseball players hit a home run and it goes off. If you push the stage all the way back to that wall where that is, and then on the field alone, you have, I don't know, 30, or not 30, I'm sorry. About 3,000 seats. And I'm just speaking hypothetically because I don't know how many seats you can fit on the field. But in the stadium seats alone, and then with those seats, you could probably fit about, I don't know, maybe about 20,000 people. And those screens are big enough that they can construct, because they do it for concerts all the time. That would be a great venue. That would give the opportunity, and I kid you not, that would give the opportunity to allow more people to go see the presentation of the parks. Now, I can't say the same thing about the actual convention, because I don't think there is a bigger convention space unless you go to the LA Convention Center.
Yeah, I think Disney's going to want to keep it at the Anaheim because it also ties into with Disneyland. And the day before, they showed a little preview of it on the little montage that they showed us this morning. They're going to do D23 Day at Disneyland. So definitely since it kicks off on August 14th, anyone that wants to do D23 Day at Disneyland, book a park reservation on August 13th. That's going to be for D23 Day at Disneyland, because it's going to fill up, folks. Trust me, everyone's going to be coming out for this thing, and everyone's going to want to be there at Disneyland for D23. And definitely, and again, that's why I have 2 magic keys. I got 12 park reservations. I drink some prune juice. I'm rare and ready to go. So but everything that you had mentioned, those were great ideas. I absolutely love them. Hopefully Disney listens to me. Hopefully they listen to you. I know Disney watches. They watch Citrico Central and OG 55, because they've been taking my ideas so far. And thank you, Disney, for allowing that, because I'm just going to say it. My ideas are freaking awesome. I'm just going to say
they are.
So now another thing that you had mentioned was, before I do, Mademoiselle, did they say when tickets go on sale? No, right now they only said the dates, and it seems like they're going through the pattern of what they did the last time. So they said the dates at Destination D23. They will announce the dates for when the tickets go on sale and the ticket tiering system of how much they're going to be. I'd say probably 3 to 4 months before the actual event. They used to actually sell tickets 1 year prior to the first day of the event. They don't do that anymore. So you're probably looking at 3 to 4 months out.
So we could possibly be looking at a March, April type.
I believe so. I think, honestly, watch, we'll be in Florida when they drop this damn thing. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah, I would say March or April, they'll make the announcement of when the tickets go on sale and how much they are. And then it'll probably be 2 to 3 weeks from that day. It'll be on sale. And then that's when I start breaking out into sweat. That's when I start like taking my Tums for my stomach and everything, because I swear this thing has given me PTSD. Like
100%.
And we got someone in here, Jason Hill. From D23, awesome. At my hotel for a bit before heading to Typhoon Lagoon. And what Jason is referring to, people who had purchased a separate upcharge ticket, they're holding a nighttime party at Typhoon Lagoon called Cuscotopia for the 25th anniversary of Emperor's New Groove. That's going to be really cool. I think, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's going to go from 11 to 1, 11 p.m. to 1 a.m., I think. So it's definitely a nighttime party. But Jason, have fun, my friend. Stay safe. Glad to hear from you. I hope you're having fun, and I can't wait to hear any more news for tomorrow for sure.
Definitely.
He corrected me. Okay, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Excuse me. I think that would be freaking awesome if it was 11 to 1 a.m. That's what I call a party. You give me some glow sticks. I'd just be like bobbing in the water with my glow sticks, just doing my little dance. You know that.
Jason, you heard it. You heard it. This guy's wild.
But see, folks, you can't get any entertainment like that anywhere else. Now, where could you see someone talking about Disney and I'm just doing my glow stick bob and dance? That's
hey, at least tomorrow we'll know where you're at in the party. I'll say, who's that guy over there?
Yep. Now watch. Now we'll go to D23 next year. We'll be in the Honda Center, and everyone's going to be doing the bob and dance.
Oh, I know. They're going to steal your idea.
Yeah.
They're going to give out the glow sticks as a promotion for coming to the parks panel, and everyone's just going
to. That's going to be awesome. And I did want to welcome in Chelsea is here. Welcome in. I'm glad to have you here. Chelsea is here. In the house. But I also wanted to, another thing before we move on, Dragon Blood, I'm glad you got your room. If you don't mind, are you close to the convention center? Are you close to Disneyland? Are you on Harbor, Catella? You don't have to give specifics if you don't want to share up, but like, is it in close proximity I'm glad you got a room. By the way, conductor, did you end up getting a room?
I did. I actually did, and I was looking at the hotel you were going to be at, but I'm on the opposite side. So where you're at, and then where I'm at, I'm literally on the opposite side. It's called the Anaheim Portofino Inn and Suites. So
Oh, Portofino.
yeah, that's where I'm
I
at.
was gonna, it's funny. I was gonna book that.
Yeah.
I was gonna book that, but for some reason, it didn't give me the option to book it now and pay later.
Yeah, no, I went through booking.com and it allowed me to do so. So I booked it from August the 13th to the 17th.
Huh. That's interesting. That
Yeah.
was like the first hotel I looked at.
Oh,
And
oh, believe me, it's not the first one either. I was looking at the Hilton, the Marriott, anything where it showed where I can literally leave the lobby and I could be in like literally right next to the convention building. Believe me.
oh, okay. And Dragonblood says Homewood Suites by Hilton. I was looking at that one too.
Same.
Yeah. So, but what's funny, as I said, I looked at Portofino and it didn't give me the option. It actually was going to book me the whole entire thing, but the whole amount was going to come out.
Oh, Jesus.
And I don't have that right now. Shit. Like, I'd be like, I was gonna like email the company. You want me to book it now? Then Venmo me, bitch. Like, I can't do nothing now.
Exactly right. Oh my God. No, but I locked it in, so I'm very happy about that. And like I said, God help us all when we eventually do get to buy tickets, because me, George, and OG we've kind of talked about it, our plan. George, if you want to go over what our plan tickets and passes are going to be, what we're hoping to get, and then obviously what the end result's going to be may or may not be the same, but
Yeah. So
on that one.
roughly what I was looking at was the seats that OG and I had for last year were perfect because they were floor seats and we had a perfect view of the screen, the stage, and there's also a mid stage where John Stamos got up and performed. All for One. They had the Mad Tea Party group performing there. So we didn't have to watch that part on the screen. We were actually able to see it live in real time, in person. And so there was one particular area that I was looking at, but I was talking to Lucas Kim today, and he said those floor seats were very hard. And he said those are usually the ones that go first because everybody wants the floor seats.
Sure.
But what was funny was there were more floor seats available before the balcony. See, I thought people were going to go for the balcony because they're the lower price tier tickets.
Well, see, okay, this is actually kind of funny because as far as I know, before the event even kicked off, I don't think there was any information. I could be wrong though. There was no information that you couldn't film inside the Honda Center, and then they came out with it. Or maybe I'm wrong. But I do tell you there was one YouTuber, and I can't think of his name right now, but he was able to live stream from the balcony, even though there was risks of him getting caught. But someone told me, and it might have even been you, George, that over 100,000 people were watching his live stream. It was insane because no one was supposed to be filming, but he was on the balcony where you're talking about the cheaper seats, and he got like an overhead view zooming in. And
honestly, if Disney really wanted to capitalize on that, for people that can't get tickets, like hold off, don't like release the tickets first. But for the people who can't get tickets to the Anaheim Convention Center or the Honda Center, or maybe they just can't travel at the moment, have a separate tiering system on a separate day, and it's unlimited, and have it as a one set price, and you can stream all that on Disney Plus.
See, that's what I was thinking. That would be a great thing to have because one, it's filmed by.
It also helps with subscriptions for Disney Plus because you would have to be a subscriber.
Exactly, and it's going to be higher quality Not
Yeah.
saying that any one of us that are influencers aren't going to have great quality, but it also depends how many people are online. Because just because they say no live stream, everyone's on their phone on TikTok, Instagram, X, posting stuff. And I've noticed over the years going to Halloween Horror Nights, going to Grinchmas, going to like festival holidays, and just events at the theme parks. If so many people in one area is on cellular data, doesn't matter what company you're with, Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, and so on and so on, it gets the service becomes very shoddy. So like George is saying, doing a live stream and kind of doing like an upcharge, but you also have to be a Disney Plus subscriber. I think that would be great because it would all be in HD. It would all be filmed by Disney, and it would give people that opportunity to see it. Obviously, all of us theme park nerds are going to post stuff online. That's never going to change.
Oh, dude, I tell you what, I was sitting with OG and literally I was on X. Literally, as they were making the announcements, I was clicking away, I was taking photos, and I was like uploading in real time.
Oh yeah.
Really. So now I'm not too big on X anymore, but
Sure.
I'm gonna, hopefully, I don't want to get too cocky. I'm gonna say hopefully, if we can get to D23, I'm gonna do the same, but I'm gonna be doing a lot more for Instagram and TikTok. Since I'm more active there. Chelsea is here. I remember watching that live stream. Yes, there were that many. Yeah, I remember there was a lot of people that was watching that because it was like, and again, as we were saying, like if Disney were to stream it on their terms, you could then have people buy more subscriptions on Disney Plus to get access to it, and then you would do a separate purchase.
Sure.
Like even if it was, I don't care, even if it was like $99.99 for all three presentations, for the studio presentation, the parks presentation, and the legend ceremony. $99.99 one-time purchase for the live stream. I mean, and again, you offer that after everything is booked.
Sure.
After everything is booked and there's no more seats available, Disney could capitalize on that.
Oh, 100%. And again, I don't know. It's a catch-22 because I kind of feel like, if people do want to live stream, like as influencers, especially if you're in certain sections of the Honda Center, that should be allowed. But then again, I also understand it because I ran into that problem at Horrors Unleashed in Las Vegas, where the first day, the grand opening day, they told everyone in line, you can't record, you can't film, you could take pictures, but that's it. No video recording of any sorts. And what the company was referring to when they said that is that it's their product that they're putting out there. And they don't want something videotaped that might not come out the best of ways if people haven't seen it yet in person. Now, obviously, this is a little bit different with D23. Obviously, it's a one and done event for the year. But obviously, again, if people are live streaming, which I understand, the quality might not be so good compared to what George is saying. If Disney does it themselves and upcharges it for people that couldn't make that event. So I get it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Johnny Ace is saying, you guys need me, boots on the ground at D23 at all major panels. Amen to that, man. Like I got to get my butt there and I gotta get moving. I tell you what, folks, if I don't get tickets to this thing, if you feel any tremors, don't be alarmed. It's not an earthquake. It's not the rapture. It's not a volcanic eruption. It's just me blowing up. I tell you what, I was speaking in tongues that day.
Well, let's say this. If Josh tomorrow decides to peek his head in the Disneyland or DCA, and you just happen to be there that day, Yeah, he's going to need extra security because you're going to go bulls on eye on that one.
Oh yeah, like definitely. Like if I see Damaro this time, I will chase him down Main Street again, like I did, and I will literally pull an Oliver Twist, and I'll be like, "Please, Mister Damaro, may I have a D23 ticket?"
Oh my God. Can you imagine that?
And folks and ladies and gentlemen, that was my bad English spoken language. I'm not good on the dialect.
Oh.
Where was it? It was Jacob. Well, oh, here he is. Jacob Weller said, "Do you have your man diapers in case you get the stress runs?
Oh God.
Don't have to get PSD group therapy." Oh yeah, it would have to be like literally the D23, like AA Anonymous, like like for me, it was like, oh man.
Oh, 100%. Definitely.
Let's see. And then Chelsea is here, said, I would think people go into these events are already D plus members. That is very true. A lot of them usually are. But again, a lot of them may not be, because some people like only have certain likings. And if they're like just a Star Wars fan, or they're just a Marvel fan,
Definitely.
a lot of times until something new comes, they'll end their subscription.
Okay. I'm so sorry that this actually popped in my mind since we were talking about it last night. Is there any way, George, you can share the screen and show the membership tiers of D23? Because that's something I want to brush upon.
Yeah.
Me and George, why he's bringing that up, me and George talked about this, and it made complete sense. Because there are, I want to say, 4 tiers to D23. There's the complimentary one that you get with your magic key when you have a magic key for Disneyland, and then not the second one, but the third one is like a gold, which George has, and then there's a one above that that I consider the platinum, but they don't call it that, and that one's going for $299, and that's something I want to discuss. Okay, here we go. So we got complimentary, we got gold member. See, I don't think it should be called gold member, but whatever. You got the $49.99, the $9.90 or $99.99, which George has, and the $2.99. So when we're talking about D23 tickets, and I talked about earlier about going down the list of tiers from D23 members to Magic Key holders to the general public, my honest opinion, when you're paying $300 a year, and the only difference from that to the $99 one is you get 4 premium items from the gold member list, catalog, whatever. And the $99 one, you only get 1. Why couldn't it be you get 2 items for the $299 one, and you get first dibs on D23 tickets with limitations? Why did they not add that?
Honestly, and I would even go, and I even said this to you over the phone when we were talking, I would even do that even for $499.99 for $500 a year, or maybe like every other year of how it adjusts. Or no, they could do it every year, because then they could even add Destination D23 to that.
Exactly.
So every year for $499.99, $500, as it rotates from Destination D23 to D23, the Ultimate Fan Event, I would be willing to pay $500 a year to get 2 items instead of 4.
Yeah.
And to have first dibs on seats at D23, the Ultimate Fan, and Destination D23. And then after we're done, then you move down to this one, the $99.99. Then you go down to the $49.99. And then you go to the free, and which is basically the general admission. And here's the thing, too. Last year, by the time it got to general admission, there was nothing left. The general admission had like nothing. So everyone out there watching, if you want a snowball's chance in getting tickets, I would suggest becoming a D23 member. Honestly, I know it may be pricey, it may be out of your range, but I guarantee you that if you're a basic, if you just like have it for free, or you have it as just a generalized guest, By the time it hits the generalized, because they usually have it for 3 days, is usually the opening weekend. It's usually the top tier day 1, which is basically the gold member.
Sure.
And then day 2 adds gold member and what was it, silver or whatever. And then the third day is for general admission. But by the time you get to day 3, there's nothing left, honestly.
Definitely. And again, I paying that $2.99, even like George is saying the $4.99 if it existed, but the $2.99 should give you the top tier chance of getting a ticket, getting your 3-day pass, and then whatever else comes in that bundle. I personally would like to see that instead of getting 4 gifts, get 2, and you get that opportunity. I think that is something they should adjust. I hope they adjust. Like George says, Disney does watch a lot of YouTube channels, including Orange Go 55 and Citrico Central, as we're speaking about this. So hopefully someone from the Disney company or a friend of a friend is watching this, because I think that's ultra critical, because anyone that's tried to buy tickets for Oogie Boogie, buying tickets for D23, and I can get with George on this, it's like a whole nother level times 100. It's that much harder.
And honestly, folks, please pass this along to anybody you know, friends, family. Just get it out there as much as possible, because as much as that we say, vote with your wallet, for the parks or the studios or what have you, the same goes for D23. If we want change, we have to voice it out, and everyone has to be on the same page of how Disney and D23 manages this. Because when they use these third-party ticketing systems, and it's just complete utter chaos. It really is. There's no cohesiveness. There's no structure. There's no. You have to do it in a format where like there is structure. So.
Definitely. And, that's something I'm going to look at myself, probably upgrading myself to at least your tier, or I might just, bite the bullet and say, you know what, I'm going to pay the $2.99 and see what happens. Because we still have a year from now when the event kicks off, and we still have at least, I would say, probably 8 months, 9 months until tickets can possibly go on sale. So from today to then, hopefully something changes with that, because I do feel like if you're already paying for a Magic Key and it's super expensive, like me and George have the Inspire Key, which is almost it's $1,800, and then you're paying for a D23 membership, which is $99.99, or like I said, I might explore doing the $2.99 one. You're paying a lot of money, and to sit there and possibly lose your spot to someone that, probably got a good night's of rest and woke up at 2:00 in the morning, and compared to you that might wake up the exact same time, and you're paying all this money, but yet they didn't have to pay crap, and they probably have the lowest tier Magic Key, and they got their ticket and you didn't. There's animosity there. It kind of makes you upset. Like George says, he stocks up on those Tums. That's why in his area, all the Walgreens and the CVS's are low stock on Tums.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I end up with freaking kidney stones, because they're calcified from all the Tums that I'm taking. But Johnny Ace, actually, good question. Say you can only get the perfect single seat for the perfect price, would you go solo, Italiano? Now, here's the thing with that. I would suggest to like anyone, like even Conductor, OG, if anybody had the opportunity, like say Conductor knows someone who's a friend of a friend that got him a ticket, and me and OG didn't get it, I would literally tell Conductor he would be out of his mind if he didn't take it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I would suggest to anybody, if you can get your hands on a ticket, as much as we would want to do it all together, and we would want to go as a group, I think at some point, and I think that was the difficult thing too last year, because I was also trying to get it for 8 people at once to get a whole row of 8. And I think honestly, we can all go to the Anaheim Convention Center together. We're there together. When it comes to the Honda Center, I say whatever seat we can nab, I say we get it. I would love to get it as close as we possibly can to one another. I would love to sit next to everybody, but in a perfect world, that would be great. In reality, is that what it's going to be? I don't know, but I would suggest to Conductor, to Tommy Toon, whoever is considering on going, if you can nab something, get it. Now, as far as going solo, I wouldn't be able to do it on my good conscience. I would still want to bring Abby because she's never been to D23. I would want her to experience it. I would want her to be with me with that. So if I couldn't at least get 2 tickets,
sure,
I would actually forego it. I would cover it as much as Abby would probably tell me to go.
Sure.
Just within my own mind, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because if I'm able to go with you and OG, one of the things I want to ask, when tickets do go on sale, for everyone watching in the chat, when tickets do go on sale, what sells out? Is it the passes for the convention center that sell out so fast, or is it the actual parks panel that sell?
Okay. Yeah, let's break that down because that's very important. Before we do, really quick, we got Kyle's thoughts in the house. Spend $600 out of the blue to book the Disneyland hotel. I'm already pissed off that this came out of the blue. I couldn't even save for it or plan. Yeah, that's the thing, Kyle. Like they don't give really anybody time to prep, but I'm starting to see a pattern. Anytime that they're going to have a Destination D23 moving forward, be prepared that they're going to make the announcement for D23, the Ultimate Fan Event, the following year.
Yeah.
And have something ready because we don't know what the dates are going to be. You know, sometimes it's early August, sometimes it's late August, sometimes it's mid, sometimes it's in September. You know, it's very hard, but I think they try to lean more towards August because it's still more in the summer, you know, and what have you. But it's on a weekend, so it really shouldn't matter. But I feel you on that. Like, it's funny, like how things just people were probably in the convention right now at Destination D23 when they made the announcement. They probably were all on their phone because literally in seconds, all hotel rooms, as I said, from Harbor to Catella, were completely booked out. It was insane.
Yep, and that's what I mean. If the hotel situation is this bad a year out, that's just given an insight how bad the D23 ticket situation is going to be. And someone mentioned in the chat, I was kind of skimming through it. That's why I keep looking off to the left here. Kyle, he actually said he booked his tickets. I don't know if it was the ticket for
yeah, I was just going to bring that up. It was okay. So was it this? Yeah. Okay. So Kyle, I wanted to ask, when you said you booked through StubHub, was that the D23 tickets? Because actually that's what we went through as the third party ticketing. Now, again, I don't know how relevant that's going to be this year because there were a lot of talks that Disney was going to be very strict on name transferring on badges. And if Disney cuts that out, StubHub, scalpers, third-party ticket sellers are going to be useless.
See, okay, so...
And then here's the thing, and I hope the scalpers know that, because what then is going to happen, they're going to be stuck with 10 to 20 seats, and still more people won't be able to go. So then when they have the event in the Honda Center, they're going to have chunks of seats and rows empty, and they're going to be like, where the hell is everybody? Well, the scalpers have it.
Okay, so this is how you fix that problem. So let's say tickets go on, or they go on sale in April. Let's just say that the first week of April, hypothetically. Let's say a month after that in May, okay, for anyone that hasn't, okay, that has not, and I mean um, has not booked through Disney's official website for these tickets, and they went third party, like George is saying, like StubHub and others. What they should do, put a fail safe in where literally a month after they buy the tickets, they have to show up in person at the convention center to pick up their credentials. So it's not even an option to get it mailed to you. You have to show up in person. And that's kind of like a fail safe, because if someone shows up, okay, to the ticketing booths and they're here to pick up 20 tickets, obviously they're going to get suspicious and they're going to say, really? You need 20 tickets or you need 30 tickets? I don't think so. And
Right.
they'll say, you know what?
And in general, that would even help that would give D23 more time to say, hey, these guys are a no-show. These are seats that we can resell.
Yeah.
Put them back out on the site, you know?
Exactly. And obviously, again, that goes back to that tier system where they can email people in those different tiers and say, hey, there's an opportunity, a one and done opportunity. Tickets, we have available tickets. Do you want it? Here's the link. And they have a time limit to click on that link, book the ticket.
Yeah, like if they should actually create like a wait list.
Yes.
So if people don't get tickets right away, they can be added onto the wait list. It first come, first serve. So whoever joins the wait list first, they're at the top of the list, and it just keeps on going down. Still no guarantee, but just in case if something of a situation like this happens, then you could start knocking people off the wait list. It's that simple, Disney. Look at that. The two of us just came up with that in like 5 minutes.
And that's the spitball.
And we're not even wearing a tie.
No, I know. That's what I mean. You got the Italian shirt, and I'm wearing a Volcom shirt. So what's wrong with this?
We're already doing damage.
All right.
Okay, this is wild to me. So, Jason Hill, I just booked the Hyatt on Harbor and Catella using points, but the cash cost was $760 per night. Per night.
Jason, you are a crazy man, but I love you.
Woo. I mean, thank God he had points. Like, I mean, that would have been. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think like anyone that would want to go to this convention, I think honestly they would put out that money because it's like a once in every other year. But it is cool to the fact of because basically what you're paying for is all 3 days at the Honda Center. Technically, what they did was they made the Anaheim Convention Center basically kind of free in a sense. So basically, you're paying for 3 nights at the Honda Center, and you're guaranteed that same seat the whole time. So I'm glad. So that's a nice segue because going back to what you asked about the tier systems with that. Really quick. So Hyatt Regency nearby is $12.99 a night.
Lord,
holy Mary, Mother of God.
God.
Disneyland Hotel was for $550. Oh wow, that's so. Wait, Disneyland Hotel was less than the Hyatt Regency, and that is wild.
Oh, okay. So I have a theory about this because remember you told me, and again, this was during your birthday weekend, was the fact that the first hotel, literally the first hotel next to the convention center or even in that area was going to be the convention center hotel. The reason why, folks, is because when you're walking the D23 floor, and let's say you get some merch or you get a bunch of, I don't know if they give out freebies at the booths. I don't know what the situation is. It's going to be my first time doing it if I'm able to do it. But that hotel connected to the convention center, it was bound to sell out first because if people are carrying like 10 bags, they could literally just go right upstairs real quick, 5 minutes, drop their crap off in their room, come right back down.
That's literally and that was the one I was aiming for. It was the DoubleTree by Hilton. And
Yes.
again, I checked Travelocity, I checked hotels.com, I tried Booking, I tried Book It, I tried the actual Hilton website. The whole entire month of August 2026 is booked. It's gone.
Same.
Kaput. Dead. Finished. Auf Wiedersehen. Good day. It was gone.
Oh my God, so funny. But no, George makes a great point because how convenient it is. You go to an elevator, you go right to your room, you drop the 10 bags off, you go back to the floor, get another 10 bags, and you just freaking keep repeating the motion. It's like a perfect plan.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Okay. So Mademoiselle said Weston is 1,038 a night, and continuing villas at Disneyland Hotel is 700 a night.
Holy crap.
Tempted to RSVP the villas. I mean, if you're going to be paying almost over $1,300
Jeez Louises.
for a non-Disney, then yeah, I mean, I would book the villas in that case. Now, Kyle's thought said, no, guys, book group rate through the email they sent D23 Gold members. I got the rate there, standard room. Book it 5 minutes after the email came out. So did they send? Why in the hell didn't I get anything?
Okay, you're gonna get George mad. So hopefully that email he got.
I hope that it got lost in the mail.
Because you're taming the beast over here when you said that. Because now he's on his phone.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So yeah, Mademoiselle said, "What email did they? Kyle, did they send that out today? Did they?"
I think that's only gold members, though.
But I am a gold member.
Well, yeah, then you shouldn't have gone this, so that's weird. Interesting.
Yeah, see, I only got like the save the date live streams.
Interesting. Now, Kyle, can you clarify, is that the hotel connected to the convention center? If you could clarify that, that'd be great. Because if that's the case, George, I would try to...
Yeah, see, yeah, Kyle said today. And then Mademoiselle said she's a gold member, but she still didn't get an email.
Interesting. There is a 23 member gold member rate that will become available when. Interesting.
Let me see. George, click on the learn more section of the email they sent to us all. Which email, Jason? Like that's I don't know.
I'm not a gold member, so I won't apply to me.
I didn't receive as I said, the only thing that I received through D23 was just the notifications for. Oh wait, maybe this was it.
No, try that.
This, I bet you I saw this earlier. Son of a gun.
Okay, Kyle said it's an email announcement of D23.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so book your hotel room today. Now it said Disneyland Resort hotels are good neighbor hotels. Dang it. You know what? I saw this email earlier and I thought it was just because of the announcements of everything.
Interesting. Well, see if you can book something. I doubt at this point, but you might as well try it.
Let's see. Crap.
Chelsea posted something. She said, I got one yesterday and today. You have to scroll and click learn more.
Yep, and that's what I did. Thank you, Chelsea. Yeah, and then I think also Jason said the same thing. So if I did it from the 12th to the 18th,
interesting.
Dang it. Now let me ask this: did you guys have to pay in full for the rate, or was it like
like book and then pay when you get there? If anyone in the chat, Kyle, Chelsea, Jason, if you guys can clarify that, that'd be great.
So the closest one that I'm seeing is like the Hyatt Regency Orange County because it's 0.20 miles away. The rest are all kind of.
See, okay, so mine was
that one is $370 a night.
Okay, that's not bad. Okay, so
if I click that.
Chelsea said one night of the room only, 200 if package with ticket. Kyle said you have to pay one night up front. And then Johnny Ace said you pay a deposit later next year and then the rest when you check in. So you kind of pay like a little bit and then pay the rest. Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so then I would have to pay $370
Yeah.
today. Okay.
Yeah, because the hotel I'm staying at, I don't know if you could pull up Google Maps, George, to kind of show a comparison where I'm going to be at. I don't know if you want to show yours, but where I'm going to be at, so that way people will get a gist. So I'm staying there from August the 13th through the 17th, and the entire trip's costing me $805. That's all.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, and I'm paying right at the hotel when I get there. I don't have to pay up front. So that's the nice thing about booking.com.
Let's see.
Okay, Jason, while you're pulling that up, I'm just going to read some of the comments. So I'm going to start with Kyle. He said, I was able to book Disneyland Hotel for that Saturday and Sunday. I paid $620 plus tax for one night of the 2-night stay. Okay, interesting. Okay, so my hotel, George, is called, well, you know what it's called. So,
yeah, because I stayed there. So it's right off of, let me see. It's here. Wait, let me see here.
Because I think the convention center, oh, okay. So there's the convention center right up here. So scroll up and keep going up.
Yeah, see, here's the Anaheim Convention Center.
So right in the corner right there, go to the right towards South Harbor Boulevard and West Catella Avenue. Click on one of those right there, those pink logos. I think it's one of those on the top of the screen. No, up.
Up more?
To the left. Okay, so
I thought like it was I thought it was like further down.
No. So you just almost had it right there, those two close to each other at the Sheraton Park Hotel. I think it's the one right above it.
So it's here we go. Portofino. Yeah.
Okay, so that's where I'm at. So I'm literally right down the street to the right.
Nice.
And the convention center is right there.
Now mine is, let me see if I can. Let me see if yours is closer. I should have actually booked the.
You probably still can. I think it was still available.
Okay, I'm right here. Okay, I'm right here.
I think you're a tad closer. Maybe a tad closer.
And then here's the Anaheim. So so technically you're coming from the front. I'm coming from the back.
Yeah.
Boy, man, I didn't make that sound dirty.
Actually, I think you're closer. Yeah, you are closer.
Yeah, because all I have to do is just come out, walk down West Catella, and then cut down here on Hotel Way.
Well, I don't know, because we might be the same distance.
It might be. Let me see. Wait, where was that thing at?
Right there. You have it right there.
Wait,
no. Yep, right
there.
here.
Right here. Okay, so so you're here. I'm here. Yeah, we're pretty much like right, literally in the middle. Like we're on both sides, and then the convention center's in the middle.
Yeah. So not bad for $805 for 4 days. I'm not complaining about that whatsoever. I think that was a great deal.
And as I said, I actually was going to book that, but for some reason it didn't give me the option to book now and pay later. It didn't give me that option. And then I don't know why. For some reason it didn't let me.
Okay. So there's new comments from Johnny Ace. We could probably start with that one.
Yeah, so Johnny, definitely. There is going to be shuttles to the Honda Center. What OG and I did the last time, we actually went back to our hotels and we just got an Uber. I know that the shuttles are complimentary, but we didn't want to take the chance and like ride with everybody else and wait in line. We just literally walked to our hotel and just got a.
Well, see, let me ask you about that real quick, and shout out Giant Peter Adventure. Always great to see him. I wanted to ask,
what's up, Robert Sprite?
What's up, Robert? If if they're complimentary and you have assigned seating in the Honda Center, is it the fact that you wanted to get there a little bit earlier than the general public, or you just thought an Uber would be easier?
I just think an Uber is just easier. It was very smooth.
Okay.
And we just waited to just like start lining people up and then having people enter into the Honda Center. Now,
Got
I do want to move on to your question because it was a very good one
Sure.
about the tiering system. So, what it usually is now, again, it might change now because each time it's always different, but I have a feeling it's probably going to be around the same format. What they do is they have in tiers 3-day convention center and Honda Center. So you have just one set ticket and you have all 3 days to get you into the convention center and the Honda Center. Then they have the 3 days just for convention center.
Yeah.
And then I believe, don't correct me, comment in the comments if this was, then I think they just had a 3-day Honda Center without convention. I could be wrong on that one. I know that they just had the 3-day convention center, but I'm not sure if they had just the Honda. Then they did individual days.
Gotcha.
Where they had just a 1-day convention center, 1-day Honda Center, but it could be just day one. Like 1-day Honda Center for studio, 1-day Honda Center for parks, 1-day Honda Center for Legends. Now, this was another thing too that I realized that I could have done. I was aiming for the big whopper, the 3-day Anaheim Convention Center and the Honda Center. Being that it all sold out, they still had the 3-day Anaheim Convention Center and individual Honda Centers. So what I should have done before throwing my hissy fit and throwing myself on the floor, rolling around like a 2-year-old, I should have bought the 3-day Anaheim Convention Center
And lock that in.
And then buy 3 individual 1-day Honda for studio, 1-day Honda for parks, and 1-day Honda for Legends, because those were around for a while.
Yeah.
They were around for a bit, not a long while, but they were there enough that you can do the kind of mix and match.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, because you brought it up with the hotel situation and how you can.
Really quick, hold your thought, Doctor. Don't lose that. You might want to answer this one because you were just mentioning this before we went live.
Okay, it's immersive. Is that how you say it? I'm probably butchering it. I'm so sorry. Actually, I'm out here in California. Georgia's out here in California. I just got service back just now. So I don't know where you're at. Hopefully you get service soon. I went to the Verizon store earlier today, and they told me not only Verizon but AT&T worldwide was having this outage, and a lot of people were having no service. But then there were some people having service, like my dad, which I wanted to kick him, but I didn't. Obviously that would be rude. But me, my brother, and my mom did not have service, but he had service. So out here on the West Coast, I'm literally looking at my phone right now because I'm actually looking at X and some of the chats and the live stream we're doing right now, and I can confirm I do have service. So
awesome. And actually, my mom was having issues with hers earlier. I couldn't get in touch with her, and hers was Verizon. Yeah. And I actually had some issues with some texting, which I didn't really know, but now it makes sense. It seems like everything kind of like was crashing. Even like with Walt Disney World, they had like a major crash. Yes. Like 45 rides were down. There were certain areas that were blacked out. Like that was interesting in itself. And then really quick, Kyle's thoughts is giving everyone some suggestions, which I do agree with him on this, because this is how I got screwed also last year, because he was on his phone and it got messed up after the line was done. So make sure everybody is on a computer. And that I 100% agree, because I screwed myself by being on my phone, because it's also so small that you have to zoom in, and it's so finicky that when you're trying to touch the seats, it's like, so yeah, whoever wants to try to get tickets, be on a computer, be on a laptop, be on some sort of computer device, just phone is probably not the best.
And that's something I'm going to look at as well. Once we know a date when they're going to start going on sale, I'm sorry to say it to my work, but I'm calling off that day. And I will be up literally, I swear to God, hand to God, 1 o'clock in the morning. And I will drink whatever I have to drink to stay up. And I will be on my computer for 10 hours if I have to be.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. Anyone who's trying to get tickets, if you're working that day, don't be, because it's not going to be like one of those things where it's like, oh, I'll jump on my lunch break and I'll get tickets. That's what it used to be. Yeah. You can literally, you could buy D23 tickets, D23 Expo tickets when it was the Expo.
Yeah.
2 weeks before the event.
I know.
Now it's completely sold out within the weekend that it opened. So yeah, if you're working, I wouldn't even say take a break. I would say like literally get your bearings together. Everybody just stay off of work, have no distractions, anything.
Lock yourself in the bedroom, so if the kids come banging on your door, say, I'm too busy, leave me alone.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because honestly, like if I had like my son with me and he was interrupting me while I was trying to get that, I would call him. I'd be like this.
Oh boy.
I would be like, let me ask you a question. How old are you? And he'd say, I'm 15. And I'd be like, if you want to see yourself make it to 16, you will walk away.
Oh my God. You know what? That is absolutely true. I would 100% do the same thing. One thing I wanted to ask you, since it's still fresh in my mind.
Oh yeah, please, yeah, because I don't want you to. Yeah.
No, it's all good. So just to remind myself, because again, I haven't gone as far into the line queue. Like I've seen the tickets, but not actually to the page where you can buy the tickets. Is it something that you have to come up with you have to have the money on you, or could you put a down payment, make payments towards it, or you have to pay it all?
You have to have the whole caboodle.
Okay.
So I would actually, depending on where you want to sit, and again, prices may vary and prices may change from last year. I would have a good 15 to 2,000 like sparingly ready, because just to say there is a ticket that you want and it's $1,100.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I got $1,800 to spare. I'm good. $1,100. They all sell out. You're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Oh, there's only a $1,600 one left. And you're like, you know what? Screw it. I already saved $1,800. You get the $1,600 ticket. You still have $200 left over in your pocket.
Exactly. And do keep this in mind as well. We are just speculating on when tickets are going to go on sale. But if it's true on what we're speculating at, maybe March, April, and the event's not until August, you got all those months to, catch up on bills, catch up on, whatever, save for the trip. If you're coming out of state, out of town, but staying at one of the hotels, if you want to get D23 merch, because I know, just seeing some of the posts that George and OG made, there's many booths on the floor which has exclusive D23 merch, which that has its own Black Friday craze in itself. So you definitely want to have money going into the event, because there's a lot of exclusive merch as well.
Yes. And there's people that literally just go for the merch, like for the convention center. They'll get up like butt crack of dawn, and they'll get in line, and they'll come out with 10 bags, and they'll walk out of the convention center, and they're done. That's their D23 experience. And I'm like, I mean, to one's own, that's fine. But I'm like, holy crap! Like, I mean, but also, Mr. Tech Bear, welcome in, and loved having you, hanging out with you for the OG55 meetup and having dinner. Kev is he's phenomenal. He's an awesome human being, and he is one hell of a funny guy. Like, I mean, he put some of his stuff puts me to shame, and see, that's pretty like I mean, that's like pretty bad. So, but Kev is an awesome dude. I absolutely love him. He says, I was on a Disney cruise in Mexico last year during the ticket sales. It was rough. We had to get individual days with Honda Center, but it worked. Yeah, see, I
Yeah,
think you come up with a game plan because, again, Disney and D23 doesn't tell you this. They throw you into the lion's den and
yeah,
expect you to know all this, and everyone's going in it blindly. So the fact that we all dealt with this last year, especially me, my eye still twitches. That um, that you go in with the expectation that you may not get exactly what you want, but there's kind of loopholes that you can work around. But you have to be calm, you have to be patient, and you have to be quick.
yeah. See, that's one thing I wish they would also adjust is a week. I would say maybe a week, couple days, whatever they want to grace us with. I wish they would give us a preview. Like, okay, this is what this pass offers. This is what this pass offers. These tickets.
Or
This.
like when you go like into like a training thing, and
Yes.
it's like it's the exact same replica, but it's false.
Yeah.
You won't get charged. That's
Yeah.
what they should allow us to do. Go into a demo. That's it.
Yeah.
Let us go into a demo of what it's going to look like. Let us click on things. Let us learn. Let us play with it. But it won't charge us because it's not active.
Yes.
Then so that way we get an idea. See, again, Disney, come on, D23, come on. It's simple. Like,
Yeah, I know. I know.
so Mouse Talk, welcome in. Thank you for joining. D23 worries me. It's been underwhelming the last two events. Not sure we'll spend this time to go. And honestly, yeah, definitely. I mean, like to one's own, if you've been to several D23 events and it's just not your cup of tea and something you're not worth doing. I enjoy it because I love the rush. I love being amongst my people. As I said, there may be one of these D23 events where I may surf the crowd. If I can get enough people to like lift my ass up and like surf me down the Anaheim Convention Center, like I'm all for it. Like get that shit on camera because that is like history in the making.
Oh, 100%. And to add on the George's thing, one of the things that really opened my eyes was, and I always revert this story back to when I have George on a live stream or I'm part of one of his live streams, is the mere fact back in July at Disneyland. Okay, Disneyland's actual, or no, not in July. It was May, and they were kicking off the Disney celebration, and one of the most magical, memorable moments I will never forget ever in my life was George's first time ever doing a live stream in the parks, and one of the greatest YouTube content creators I can ever tell you guys that covers Disney so heavily, it's crazy, is Hey Bricky. He came up, took George's phone like it was taking candy from a baby, started recording on his live stream, filming everybody around us. It was me, George, his wife Abby, OG, Webba, Tommy Toon World, and maybe one or two others. And then I kid you not, it's like a fairy tale. All these big YouTubers just came in and just hung out with us on Main Street. Like I said, you got Mark, or you got Mr. Hey Bricky, you got Magic Journeys, you had Provo Pass, you had
Offhand Disney.
which one?
Offhand Disney.
Offhand Disney, which I ran into multiple times, so that was very cool because I love his content. Then you had Fresh Bake kind of peeked his head in there for a minute. You had all Justin Scard, you had him, you had Adam the Woo. I kid you not, folks.
Justin was the other one that took over my life too. After P. Dickett, Justin took over.
Yes. And I love telling this story because when George mentions something like D23 and hanging out with his people, it really is a great event, not only to celebrate the Walt Disney Company, see what they're up to, check out all the amazing projects they have, talk to former Imagineers, current Imagineers, talk to people in the industry, but you're also hanging out with your fan base.
Yeah.
It's such a amazing event because a lot of times when we do these live streams, as much as we love your comments during these live streams, we've never met you in person. So when we're at an event like that and we see you guys come up to us and say, hey, Citrico Central, or hey, theme park conductor, or hey, Orange Grove 55, it's so great to meet you, I'm such and such. It puts a name to the face, and it's such an amazing time. I kid you
And,
not, and I
and
will always reference that time in May at Disneyland.
And that's a perfect example. That's a great tie-in, because when OG and I were literally in line, we were in the standby line waiting to enter into the showroom floor in the convention center. There were people in line that were all the way on the other side that recognized us, walked all the way over. Well, more so, they probably recognized OG's hair because it sticks up among the crowd. But they came over and they said, hey, like OG 55 Italiano, like they recognized us. We ended up getting selfies. We ended up taking group photos. It's just a fun time where you can go to the parks on a regular day and it's great. But when you go to D23, it's a different kind of Disney fan base. These are the diehard fans that are just like us. And it makes you feel like you're part of something much bigger, that it's not just you in this little bubble of a realm that loves Disney. There's other people out there that share the same common interest as you. They love Disney. They love Pixar. They love Star Wars. They love Marvel. They love Fox. They love Avatar. They love 20th Century. They love ESPN. There's like so many different attributes to the company that you can like something individually, but it brings us all together. Under one roof for 3 nights every other year, so that is like, that's the one thing that I do love, as much as it drives me nuts. And D23, it wears me down, but it is all worth it, that if you can get through, for sure. Now, Kyle's thoughts said, I do wonder your thoughts. My informer pool of visitors last year, all out-of-state visitors, got their tickets on third-party websites. Only really locals got tickets through Disney. You cut third-party, you cut out state visitors. That's interesting, Kyle. It makes sense, because at that time, I was out of state. And I ended up getting a third-party. It makes me wonder if that's going to be different now that I am local. Maybe it'll have a better shot. But it's funny that you say, so if you cut out the third party, you're cutting out state visitors. If that's the hand that Disney put themselves in, then maybe it's best that they do keep the third party, as long as they can kind of keep a handle on how many tickets the third party can buy, because I think that was a major problem.
Well, see, again, that's part of that, membership tier on when they allow people to buy tickets, per whatever your membership is for D23, whatever your magic key is at the parks. And I do think, and again, this is not being offensive to anyone watching in the chat or anything. This is just a spitball idea I have. Like George was saying, if they are going to keep the third-party websites, because they do generate sales for the Walt Disney Company for this event every 2 years, I think people that are in California, have a residence in California, live in California, should have some type of priority.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I do agree. Because they already give you like moments where like they have like Southern California rates and California, local things and stuff like that. So that would be very interesting. Johnny A says, Italiano, say everyone strikes out on getting tickets. What's the number you are spending to get you and your plus one in the room? Ooh. Ooh. Okay, so if you're including my plus one, that would be whatever the ticket is times 2. So I know this is going to sound like a very, very high number, but remember, you have to think this is for 3 days for Anaheim Convention Center and Honda Center, and I'm timesing it by 2. I think Abby and I are probably going to like come together and have like at least $4,000.
Yeah.
Right? Easy.
Yeah. I can see that easily. And I'm looking at probably 1,500 to 2,000 myself as an individual. So
yeah,
that's just a comparison.
Dragon Blood says, I'm definitely staying up late to buy D23 tickets. For Honda Center, I'm getting studio and parks panels separate as I'm not interested in the Legends panel. That's, yeah, there you go. That's good. And yeah, I think honestly the night before I'm going to like not get any sleep. I'm going to be tossing and turning. I'm going to need like a shot of adrenaline that morning because it's like.
Yeah. So I think what, this is just a spitball idea as well, is I think I'm going to FaceTime George and OG, and all of us are just going to be on the FaceTime and then be on our computers ready to buy tickets. If and I'm not saying his name because his name does not need to be part of this, but if our connection does not work out, all 3 of us, me, George, and OG, are going to be ready on our computers, because at this point, you pull out all the stops. You don't just stop at one stop. You pull out all the stops.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Kyle's thoughts here. I think he's referring to, I guess, like the California base thing. Now, he's saying absolutely not. The amount of money spent crossing the country, time spent, and this event not being on the East Coast, you have no idea door to door how hard it is to get to Disneyland from Vermont. And honestly, I mean, I could definitely understand that, because being from the East Coast myself, it does get a little challenging. I definitely, and especially since they do only hold this out here in California. Like, again, they have the Destination D23s, but they're not the big fan event. They're only held in California. So for people that have to do a lot of connection flights and a lot of that. So
I just want to ease Kyle's mind, because I know, like I said, you mentioned about, me saying about California. All I'm saying about California, Kyle, just to ease tension, is the mere fact that I think people that live in California should have priority, but it's not going to eliminate people from out of state, like you're saying in Vermont or other states, from getting tickets. I kind of think the Walt Disney Company should look at either people that live in California, where this event is held, where Disneyland is, they should have priority, or don't even think about that idea. And like I've repeated myself a couple times this live stream with George, is you go by the tier system. You start at that $299 D23 membership, and you work your way down, and then you work your way down with the magic keys. But at the end of the day, everyone has an opportunity. It's not, oh, well, D23 and then maybe the Inspire and Believe key have a chance, and the hell with everyone else. That's not what I'm getting at. So I just wanted to clarify. There's multiple ways how Disney can approach this. I just kind of feel like what they're doing right now, last year when George and OG went to it, is a prime example why they need to change things, to give more people like yourself and others an opportunity to go to this event. That's all I'm trying to clarify there.
Absolutely. And Dragon Blood, you know what, Conductor and George and also OG, we got to video call all of us getting tickets. That would be interesting. Now, here's the thing, Dragon Blood, that would be interesting, but the problem with that is that's where you get the distractions.
Yes.
Like, you have to do not be texting anybody. Do not be calling anybody. Don't have anybody texting or calling you. If you have to call them a 4-letter word, you can apologize later, and then just get your tickets And then after we get our tickets and we
Wow.
have a big deep breath and we have a nice big shot of scotch or brandy, whatever one comes first, then
Okay.
we can then we can all breathe and say, you know what? Okay,
Okay.
we can
Okay.
have a conversation.
Oh, okay. Let's make some type of an idea here. Not a guarantee, but an idea. If all three of us get tickets, okay. Let's say all three of us get the tickets we want. I will personally join George and OG on a live, whether it's the spicy after hours live that OG likes to do on his channel or George or whoever. And I will literally take a shot of brandy with these guys during the live stream. I hand to God if we got tickets. I'm saying it now. So cross my fingers on that one.
Yes. And that's how bad he wants it. He would be willing to take a shot of brandy just the fact that he can get those D23 tickets.
Yep, absolutely.
That is wild. Now, conductor, I don't know. Do you have time to finish up with the studio side?
Sure, let's do it.
All right. So,
I know we got caught up in the D23
no,
tickets.
that's perfect. No. I'm glad we did. Because we were going to do that anyway. I just didn't know if it was going to come after the movie part or before, but I'm glad we got that in because that was definitely something that needed to be talked about for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So, okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Now, actually, Drew, the Disney dude, just posted this. This is actually at Typhoon Lagoon right now for the Welcome to Cusco-topia for one night only, the water part, the party at Typhoon Lagoon. So I just wanted to just showcase that because I thought that was really cool. That's where Jason Hill is also going to go as well.
I hate you, Jason, but I love you at the same time.
Yeah, he's living the La Vida Loca.
Yeah, no kidding. Must be nice. Okay. I'm going to remember that when I see you on the showroom floor at D23, if not sooner. I'll keep that in mind.
And then you just have you on one end and Jason on the other, and you just hear the wow, wow, wow.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm scrolling through everything that we already discussed, and then here we go. Okay, so going to the movie thing, this was just something that they just kind of threw in there. This was part of the D23 on the road for the Home Alone 35th anniversary. So it's basically what they did with a Goofy movie. So they're basically just going to take this movie on the road to different locations, like different cities and everything during, I guess, the holidays. So just wanted to throw that out there. Nothing too big. Now this is okay. So when OG and I went to D23 last year, Jennifer Lee, who was still ahead of the Disney Animation Studios at the time, she hinted that there was going to be an animated film coming out in 2026, but there was no title. There was no storyline behind it. She said it would be coming soon. Well, fast forward to today. This was the 2026 animated film. So this is compliments to the Hollywood Handle. Walt Disney Animation Studios' new original film, Hexed, will be directed by Josie Trinidad, who worked in the animation department in Zootopia, and Wreck-It Ralph, and Jason Han, who directed Moana 2. So basically, I'm going to bring this up. This is what the logo is going to look like, and it's supposed to open fall 2026, primarily November 2026. And so here is like some piece of like artwork. So it basically kind of gives off this like Halloween kind of like kind of like witches kind of thing. Now what's funny to me is, and I forget who said it to me, I don't know if it was OG or if it was somebody who messaged me, is why a movie like this they would release it the month after Halloween. Like a movie like this I would have released like September.
Yeah.
Like August or September. That's what I would have done anyway, to kind of give that like Halloween kind of feel. But also too, I hope that this is a movie because it kind of gives off a little bit like Pixar's Onward and Strange World. And I hope that's even a little bit of Elio. Which here's the thing, I actually adored Elio. I enjoyed that movie, but sometimes like I kind of hope that they give it that tangled, frozen Moana treatment, where it's like kind of like that mythical, like fairy tale kind of thing. Like I hope it's not going to be like a quirky DreamWorks kind of movie.
Same here. You know, like you said, I do find it, like you said, I do kind of find it a little interesting to me that they release it after Halloween. You know, again, looking at this concept art, it kind of gives that Halloween type spooky aesthetic just from this one picture alone. But I do have to agree with George. You know, with Disney and their movies lately, and not just animated movies, but some of their remakes and live actions. One in particular comes to mind is that Snow White that just tanked. Um, I'm hoping this is not a repeating pattern where it just tanks. Um, I have high expectations for this movie, so I'm super excited about it because obviously you got the director who filmed Moana 2, which Moana has a big following as well. You got Wreck-It Ralph's Zootopia, which have been absolute hits for the Walt Disney Company and Walt Disney Pictures. So I kind of feel like they're gonna hit a home run with this, but again, there's always that little, you know, little worry that it might not do as well. But I hope for the best. I really do,
Mhm.
because they need a W in their column. As much as people said that, like for example, Fantastic Four did an amazing job, but the box office reflects different. I hope this is not the same case.
I agree. Like we need something that would, and honestly, and if this is a huge hit and it's kind of based off of that Halloween kind of feel, they could definitely utilize this IP, for the Halloween season.
Yeah,
You could do a Halloween overlay of Hexed. You can do, for the Mickey's Not So Scary. You could do it for Oogie Boogie Bash, depending on like, what kind of villain there's going to be in there. So there's a lot of potential here. So just hopefully they execute it well. You know.
definitely.
Now coming down here, this is actually from the Disney D23. Ice Age Boiling Point was just announced at Destination D23, coming to theaters on February 5th, 2027. The newest adventure takes the herd to visit never before seen corners of the treacherous lost world. And there was another post that had mentioned this, where they mention about like volcanic eruptions and dinosaurs. Now there is an Ice Age movie that's called I think it's Dawn of the Dinosaurs, but they're adding more dinos into the mix with a volcanic kind of thing. If this movie does well, and this is leaning in, with the Fox properties, do you think this could be an extra outage that they can add into Animal Kingdom, where they can kind of have that prehistoric, bring back the dinos kind of thing, but it would be centered around a popular IP?
I think that's a great possibility because we've talked about it on your channel, especially OG's channel, my channel, is that the Walt Disney Company in general, they are whatever attraction, show, characters, lands, they're all basing it off of IP base. So I could see something definitely like this with Animal Kingdom, especially since Animal Kingdom right now is going through a mass transformation with the tropical Americas. So
Mm-hmm.
it's more than possible to have something like this. But again, it also depends on the box office. Just because we're all saying it's great, until it gets, critiqued, rated, views, reviews, we're all speculating, but Ice Age has been around for a very long time. I think since the early 2000s.
2000, 2001.
Okay, so it's been around for 20 plus years. They wouldn't. The way I feel it is the Disney company would not feel. They would. They wouldn't. They wouldn't be coming out with another movie from this franchise if they didn't think it was going to be a hit. So I have all my faith in Disney on this. And like George says, we could possibly see this as another attraction, maybe a land, maybe a show, maybe something that will be brought into the parks. Because, like I said, it's been around for 20 plus years and it's still going.
It is. And it's amazing to the fact of that Disney wants to continue this franchise because it stopped for a while,
Yeah.
So, again, so as you said, they must see something in Ice Age that is gonna bring it back for sure. Now this was Joey Fatone from NSYNC. He surprised members by coming on and singing the Trashing the Camp song from Tarzan. I thought that was really cool.
That is cool.
And then Gamma from Up, Pixar's Up, is going to make a cameo in Hoppers, the next Pixar movie coming up.
Okay.
So again, just small things there. So then Drew, the Disney dude, said they just watched a exclusive clip from the set of Avengers Doomsday with Joe Russo, Anthony Russo, and Paul Rudd. No footage from the movie was shared, but the clip was hilarious. Which I did hear that it was something like where Paul Rudd was in front of the Russo brothers and he was trying to block the camera from seeing beyond. So for spoilers. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
That's hilarious. That's something Ryan Reynolds would do as Deadpool.
Yeah, which I'm surprised that they didn't get Ryan Reynolds to do that, for Deadpool. And then courtesy of Boardwalk Times, 2026 is going to be a big year for Marvel Studios and Star Wars. The Mandalorian and Grogu is being described as Mando and Grogu's biggest adventure yet. Joe and Anthony Russo have said Avengers Doomsday is the biggest film they have ever made.
Wow.
So that's some big stuff to say right there. That's pretty telling. Now, again, this is all stuff that's hyping us up for D23 next year. Can you imagine? See, and that's where people are going to be all hyped, especially with the movie panel. Now with Mandalorian and Grogu, I think it comes out later on next year, I believe. So we'll probably be getting the last pieces of Mandalorian and Grogu at D23, I believe, because they're also going to open it with the Smuggler's Run, which was genius for doing that opening weekend, which, again, I didn't get to talk about this on the channel too, but the engineers that are part of the ride, so instead of you just pressing buttons and you don't even know why you're pressing the buttons, engineers will be able to, before the adventure starts, will have the option to pick the location.
Interesting.
Before the ride. So that's a significant part. A lot of times I just like being the engineer so I could just press the button and look on the screen so I could see where the hell we're going, because half the times you're looking at something else and you don't even know what's going on.
Pretty much. So I want to ask you two things. Mm-hmm. So do we have some type of time frame for Avengers Doomsday to be released? Is that a fall movie, or is that going to be kind of like summer, if not late spring?
See, I would have. This is the funny thing is, if Doomsday comes out in the spring or early summer, that, I guess, unfortunately, they wouldn't be able to add that into D23 because it would already be open. But that might open up a doorway to talk about Secret Wars, because Secret Wars is going to run right after Doomsday.
So this is where I'm trying to pivot to. If they do release Avengers Doomsday before D23, and again, everyone watching D23 is not until mid-August of next year. And let's say, like you said, Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu doesn't release until later in 2026, which I'm kind of thinking, because any Star Wars movie that I've seen, in my 33 years of being on this planet, is they always try to release it closer to the holiday season, like maybe November, December. And one thing I would love to see, because we saw it in the series of Mandalorian, that they brought back Luke Skywalker when he was younger, saved everybody, including Grogu and the Mandalorian. I would like them to explore more of the galaxy and not just have characters return, but like a Darth Vader or Dark Sidious, or bring back some of those characters. I don't know how everyone feels about that, but I'm kind of nostalgic for all those characters. And the mere fact, I can't remember the actor's name, but the mere fact that the actor that played Palpatine was able to come back for the latest installment of not only the latest Star Wars movie, but also the Obi-Wan series, which is on Disney Plus, which I'm still crossing my fingers for, that they are going to come out with a season 2. They said they are. I'm hoping that's the case. I hope there's no hiccups or dilemmas. But with this movie, I would like them to kind of explore everything and have visits from retro characters, new characters, so it doesn't feel like, oh, this is all new generation and the hell with everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I completely agree. I do. And I'm very curious to see, because whatever big stuff does get announced or opens prior to the next D23, that is going to leave a lot of space opened for new stuff coming in, which is very promising. Because I want to see something new. I want to see something different. I don't want to see the same presentation about talking about Avengers Doomsday all the time. Like, because if we had several presentations on that, it's like, okay, let's see the movie and let's move on to Secret Wars, or Fantastic Four 2 or something, This I have to mention because I thought this was very sweet, which me and Abby got to have lunch with her down at Walt Disney World. Disney legend Jody Benson will be the first official D23 fan ambassador leading up to D23, the ultimate fan event in August of 2026. Benson will engage with fans and make appearances with D23 throughout the year before the event in August.
Nice.
And I thought that's very cool. I thought that was very interesting. And she is a very people person. Like, as I said, she's very sweet.
Okay. Hold on a second.
Yep.
Go up one post. So let me clarify this. So where they hold this at, they had 4,000 people in there. And I talked about it way at the beginning, was that some of the projects that were announced at last year's D23, having 4,000 people in this event is not a small venue. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, and that's why they moved it, because I think it was the Fantasia Ballroom in the Contemporary. It's big, but the one in Coronado is much bigger.
Oh, definitely. So again, going forward, I would like to see something where they have a third day and giving progress reports on current projects they announced at the last D23 to give people excited, kind of like what they've been hinting and teasing at, like showing little clips of like the new Avengers attraction, that Stark Flight Labs, where they're offsite in the warehouse. They're showing how the ride works. They're showing Tony Stark and Bob Iger riding it. I would like to see that type of content for future attractions, at least at Destination D23.
Yeah, and I have to correct myself, because when we were talking about the seating, I said 15 to 1,700. I'm sorry, it was 15 to 17,000.
Yeah.
And by adding more capacity, it would be up to 35,000, not 100. Because if you could already fit 4,000 people just in the Coronado Springs convention hall,
sure,
the Honda Center, you can fit
Oh yeah,
I mean, and then the Angel Stadium, you could fit even more.
exactly.
And then Bob Iger came on and gave his little speech and everything. Um,
Favorite.
I'm trying to, I'm trying to get to where the, oh yeah, which by the way, folks, anyone who wanted this ginormous, you know what? I just now noticed Sam Carter uses the word ginormous. I use ginormous. I thought I was the only one who did. Who wants this ginormous Disneyland key? They are on sale now. Now I don't know if by the time I get there if they're already going to be gone, but we'll see.
That scares me.
Oh, and this was interesting because this came from Scott Gustin.
Okay.
Officially begging Disney to give us a live action Treasure Planet. And actually, OG is one that would constantly say this. Director Ron Clements is here talking about the animated film as part of the D2K Animated Classics panel at Destination D23. And here's the thing, I'm not a fan of all the live actions that Disney does, but I have to say, Treasure Planet would be one hell of a good live action.
Oh, 100%. 100% agree with that. I would love nothing more to see that come to life.
Yeah, like the scope of that is just phenomenal. And I do have to mention another park thing I actually forgot. And this is coming from blogmickey.com. Along with the Tron Ares overlay for Tron Light Cycle Run at Magic Kingdom, guests will find a new on-ride photo. So I guess this is what the on-ride photo is going to look like. And they're going to design it to all be in red like Ares, and they're going to have the whole cover be red, and it's also going to be to the soundtrack of 9 Inch Nails.
Interesting.
So yeah, so Tron's going to get a little bit of an overlay there.
That's cool.
And then the panel they started, I guess they did, which was funny because they had a small little panel for Avatar Fire and Ash, but no one really put anything else out there other than that.
And it's interesting too. I don't know if someone got video of this or not, if they just talked about the movie, or they kind of went off script for a second and said, oh well, based off this movie of the franchise, we are actually currently in development working with Disney Imagineers to bring that version of Avatar to the Disneyland Resort, aka DCA, which I found very interesting. They wouldn't mention anything of that.
Yeah, like it was like all hush hush. I wonder if like they really was like kind of strict on that. No one like showed anything else other than like that, as far as I know. And then I have to just show this too, because again, I usually call it when I see it, but I made this post out earlier. I'm going to call it now. Could we possibly see Patrick Warburton as an inductee for a Disney Legends Award? And I think honestly he would be perfect, because I mean he was the guy who took us soaring around, over California and around the world. He does the voice of Kronk. He's doing a new voice in Zootopia 2. And it's just, I don't know, like I just think he deserves a Disney Legends Award.
He has my vote.
Mm-hmm. He's hilarious. And then, so this is the upcoming Disney/Pixar theatrical schedule. And then they just asked, coming from Toon Hive, which film are you excited for the most? So Zootopia 2 comes out November 26, 2025 of this year, followed by Hoppers on March 6, 2026. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe we could all go see Hoppers while we're down in Florida. We can go to the AMC at Disney Springs. Then Hexed, November 25th, 2026, which again, I would have done it in September or October, but to one's own. Toy Story 5, June 19th, 2026. I believe this is Pixar's Godot, right here with the cat.
Yeah.
June 18th, 2027. Frozen 3, November 24th, 2027. And then The Incredibles 3 and Coco 2, 2028 and beyond. But it looks like The Incredibles 3 is going to come out before Coco 2, which tells me if The Incredibles 3 comes out in 2028 and Coco 2 comes out in 2029, they're going to want to have kind of like a connective tissue correlation with the boat ride, I would think.
I
So
think so.
I'm thinking the boat ride will probably be, what are you thinking, 2028, 2029?
I don't know. Because we've all heard at DCA, we've all heard that construction is going to be starting anytime now. It's pretty much greenlit at this point. So whenever they start, personally for me, I don't know if it's going to take 2.5 years to build it. I could be wrong. It's a possibility, but the thing I've always said about the Southern California theme parks, whether it's Disneyland, Universal, Knott's Berry Farm, SeaWorld, San Diego, is the mere fact that we have a massive, and I mean a massive event coming to our shores in 2028. And everyone knows what I'm talking about. It's the Olympics. And what great opportunity would it be to get that clientele to come to the theme parks? That's what Disney wants, Universal wants, Cedar Fair wants with Knott's Berry Farm. You got SeaWorld, Legoland. They all want that. They all want that clientele. Because I will tell you, for those 2 weeks, Southern California is going to be a hurricane on steroids with people. It's going to be jam-packed from Los Angeles, where the Olympics, the main hub is going to be, all the way to San Diego. It's just going to be a logistical nightmare for 2 weeks straight. But it's a great opportunity financially for all these companies. So when you ask me about something like that, unless it's going to come before the Olympics, that boat ride, I would say Disney wants that open. Obviously, Avengers is going to be open, and possibly another maybe ride or attraction open by the time the Olympics come to Southern California. So to answer your question, it's a possibility, but if they are going to wait until 2028, hopefully it's before, I think it's June or May when they start the Olympics. So they would have to open that sometime before then, literally.
Okay, so probably maybe spring or early summer of 2028.
Yeah.
Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So I wanted to mention this because I knew this was going to happen. So really quick. So down here, the Hollywood Handle posted this photo of, this is the first opening scene of Zootopia 2. So this is what we're going to see when the movie starts. Now up here, this was a little video clip of somebody that recorded the first opening scene of Toy Story 5.
Oh, boy.
And it was up for a little bit, and I knew it was going to happen. That it says, this media has been disabled in response to a report by the copyright owner. And I knew for a fact that was going to get taken down. I knew that for a fact.
So just to clarify real quick, anytime you're at that event or D23 and you post something as a content creator, just keep in mind there's always a chance that this might happen. So don't get discouraged if it does happen.
And usually Disney will let you know. If they say that you can record, then you're fine. Yeah. But if they say cameras down, phones down, put them away, and you still find a way to record it and you put it out there, technically you're still not getting away with it, because Disney will find it, they'll flag you, and they'll have it taken down.
Yeah, definitely.
And then again, there's the footage for Toy Story 5. And then this is, I think, kind of cool. Officer Clawhauser making his grand debut as a costume character that they're going to have inside the international Disney parks for right now. But I think soon we'll probably see him in the domestic parks. I mean, obviously with the Zootopia Better Zoogether coming to Animal Kingdom, you got the new costumes for Judy and Nick. And then they're even meeting out in DCA. So I could definitely see Officer Clawhauser making an appearance for sure.
Definitely.
Let's see, just making sure I'm covering everything.
Sure.
Oh, this was cool. This was the Hexed little like preview thing that they showed, like to unveil the title. I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, I love that. That screams villains to me right away. How that was presented.
Yeah. Now, do you think that's actually what their intention could be? That being that they're building a whole entire villain's land, do you think like Hex can kind of like help along with that?
I think so. I 100% agree with that. Now, when they build villains land, one thing I would say for sure is depending on how they build it, obviously if you can as Disney, something like this, like we both said, if it's successful, that's something you can integrate into the villains land, but you have to make room for it. You can't just plop it, like a guest appearance. You can't just plop it anywhere in that land. It has to make sense. And that's why a lot of people are kind of skeptical about, the Hollywood backlot, because it has no identity. Like I told George, God, this was months ago. I'm sitting there walking through DCA by myself, filming content, and I turn my head like this, and all of a sudden I see Tigger from Winnie the Pooh doing meet and greets. I'm like, what in God's name is he doing here? So, and something like that, I get it. But if you're going to build a villain's land and you're going to incorporate some of those characters from that movie in that villain's land, first of all, it has to be relevant. Second of all, it has to do well in the box office, and it has to catch people's attention. It can't be just like, oh, look at those characters and then keep walking. It has to grab people's attention. So
absolutely. And Scott Gustin reported, speaking again, kind of going off a little bit of a villain's look. Disney PhotoPass shared a look at the Tron Ares. I know we saw this one. This was like the photo op, but this is like what it's going to look like over the whole entire canopy. It's going to be lit red.
I love that. God willing, I wish we can get that in our Tomorrowland. I know people would hate it, but I would love it.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, it was a long shot for Fantastic Four, and I know it didn't do so well at the box office, but you never know. If they do a sequel just with the Fantastic Four again, it may do, bigger numbers. But if Tron Ares does well, I mean, you never know. I mean, that could be their scapegoat.
Yeah, 100%. What
this I thought was hilarious of how Disney did this Cracker Barrel like logo. Like they really like trolled them, but I give kudos to Disney for like having some fun,
Oh yeah,
I thought that was hilarious.
I'm sure it's all business at the animation studio, so once in a while to crack a joke, it's hilarious.
Yeah. And then the Hollywood Handle reports The Incredibles 3 releases in theaters in 2028. So yeah, so it's unless they do two Pixars that same year, but if The Incredibles 3 comes out in 2028, then that means Coco 2 is more so leaning towards 2029.
Yeah. And if not in the same year, at least separate them 6 months apart at the very least.
Very least, yeah. And then this was the piece of footage that they could show. It shows like Buzz Lightyear, like a bunch of Buzz Lightyears, like breaking out of their boxes. That's and cool. Stuff like that. So,
and as far as I know, George, are they still going to have Tim Allen and Tom Hanks reprise their roles?
Yes, they are reprising their roles. They actually did make that announcement at Destination D. Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, and Joan Cusack is reprising her role as Jessie as well.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Believe me on that one.
Like the only person that had to be replaced was Slinky Dog, because unfortunately Jim Varney passed away.
Yeah.
And then of course I think they're not going to have Mr. Potato Head because of Don Rickles passing. He already passed before Toy Story 4, but they had enough audio like of stuff that they could have used. So I don't know if they still have more audio for Toy Story 5. If not, then I think they'll just let Mr. Potato Head go.
Yeah.
And then Attractions Magazine posted a photo of all 13 Disney princesses together at once on stage. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Then they
What?
just had like Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
I have.
And this was the little video footage of people literally kind of stranded to get into the park.
Oh my God. You imagine that? So that's one thing me and George talk about. George is obviously a better expert than I am, but it'll be my first time in Florida, especially Orlando, in over 15 years. Because I went as a kid to fly into Orlando to jump on a Caribbean cruise. I haven't been back since. You imagine that sitting there waiting, even under the canopies, but just how humid and hot and sticky. Because we got a taste of it during your birthday weekend at Disneyland. I can only imagine those people having to wait in that. That
Uh,
must
yeah,
suck.
that would probably. Oh my gosh.
Uh,
And then I have to. So these are going to be. So they're going to showcase Spider-Man, Buzz Lightyear, and Minnie Mouse in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day
Very
Parade
cool.
this coming year. But I have to showcase this because this is hilarious.
Oh, I
So
love that.
Conan O'Brien is going to do a voice in Toy Story 5 of a character named Smarty Pants, and it's basically a potty training toy.
Oh, Lord. I
Um,
can imagine.
so I could definitely see Conan O'Brien filling in that role very nicely.
Oh, definitely.
And then they just showed like different things, just like throughout the year for the holidays. Um, and then, so this was the thing. Yeah, see Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, and Joan Cusack. And then there was some voice cast for Hoppers as well that I passed up here. John Hamm, I think he's going to be the villain in
Oh,
Hoppers, right there. I think he's going to be like the greedy mayor or something.
of course, they would get him to play that part. I love that.
King George. Yep. See, that's me, King George.
Hey, you know what? You could be a Disney character. Mondo already has his character.
That's going to be me. I'm going to be King George. That's going to be my character from Hopper.
Yeah, and he's Mondo the Frog, so on
Yep.
Tiana, so he's already set in stone.
And then the BDX droids made a small appearance at D23.
That's cool. So that's okay. So that's something that I would like to see more kinetic energy in our Galaxy's Edge, even in Walt Disney World. You know, again, I know something like those little bots are probably way over the top to, build, create, debut, but I would love to see those type of robots, any type of robots, not just R2D2. I would like to see like a C3PO. I would like to see other different droids roaming the land. You know, obviously see some of the aliens from the restaurants roaming the land. I think that would be so cool. And going forward, I really honestly hope either we get the best of both worlds here. One, we get that restaurant in Galaxy's Edge and they figure out logistically how to do it properly, or we get the restaurant and that second attraction that has the space for that. Because I think that land deserves a third attraction. There is what, two or three kind of like portal looking big door entrances that you can clearly see where a ride is meant to go there.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's definitely I said to OG on one of our shows that we did together, and I said I honestly feel like they're going to do something with Galaxy's Edge before they touch Tomorrowland.
I think so. I you know what? I think, but see, here's the justification I could see. They could do both at the same time. And the reason I say something like that, because whatever they build, whether it's the restaurant or another attraction, it's all backstage. So it's not going to affect the land. So if they wanted to shut down Tomorrowland and basically bulldoze it to the ground and start over, and then also build that or third attraction for Galaxy's Edge and maybe the restaurant or just the restaurant or maybe just the attraction. They don't the best thing in the world is they don't have to close Galaxy's Edge for that. Because it's all backstage where they're going to put these items if they do so.
Yeah. I
So
definitely agree. Now, there was something I wanted to ask you. Oh,
yeah,
that was, speaking of Tomorrowland. Now, you
yeah.
see like how they're kind of like, updating Carousel of Progress, which we know we didn't really see that coming. Rather than close the whole entire land down,
Uh,
would you see them doing Tomorrowland in phases?
so I can see them doing it in phases, but it's very, very difficult. The reason I say difficult because everything's so close to each other. Then you got the people mover track, which is again, I'm not even going to get into that. That could be an hour long video in itself. But the people mover tracks go through all these different buildings. So if they were going to do it in sections, the first section I would possibly work on, and I'm going to be really honest with you, and people might not like it, is get rid of that stupid um what's that attraction right in the front? What is it called? The
Oh, the actual.
accelerometer. Get rid of that and either get rid of it permanently or put it back on top of the people mover station and remodel the people mover station, because one of the things that George said, even with Tron Ares coming out, you know, if that movie does well, because obviously Fantastic Four, a lot of people liked it, I liked it, George liked it, but just reviewers did not like it, is the mere fact that I've seen the picture. George, I know you've seen the picture. OG's seen the picture, but it kind of had that Tron Ares look of the People Mover station where it sits now, but it's all futuristic. There's like this high tech glass with beams running through the glass. It looked totally futuristic. So, how I would do it, I would close that section off first. I would, and again, I know a lot of people are not going to like it, but I would bulldoze and get rid of um, um, Star Tours, move it to Galaxy's Edge, figure a spot somewhere, even if they have to tear down a backstage building, figure a spot where it's not going to take over the third attraction. So you'll have four attractions in that land, which I'm okay with. But move Star Tours, bulldoze that building, get rid of, well, I don't know, maybe the Starcade or not the Starcade, but the gift shop maybe can stay. If not, bulldoze that, but save that neon type Mickey thing on the side of the building. Definitely save that. Don't destroy that. And then I would close that. So all the way up to probably I would say probably where Buzz Lightyear is, but still have Buzz Lightyear open. But again, you bulldoze all that stuff. And if you have to temporarily, you bulldoze the tracks of the old people mover and you get rid of where it splits off going into the two buildings and you bulldoze it all the way up to where the station's at. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You leave the station alone. Obviously, you remodel it so it's futuristic, but you get rid of that building, the gift shop, and then if you really wanted to get balls to the wall, you could get rid of Buzz Lightyear and start with that. Because obviously, people go in there for obviously, Star Tours still has a big fan base. Buzz Lightyear still has a fan base. Space Mountain has a fan base. Everything else, I don't know, it's dead to me. Again, for a massive building like the Star Wars launch bay to have a tiny little room for vacation members, sorry, that building, I'll be the first one to put a hard hat on and jump in a bulldozer and start ramming the damn thing until it's to the ground. But you know,
Well,
that's
I'll hand it off to you when I start knocking down the hosses off a harbor.
perfect. That works for me. But that's how I would start it, because I think there is a future for the people mover. Like I said, I've seen the concept art. If I find it again, I'm going to send it to you, George. So maybe when I'm on the live stream tomorrow talking about the second day of Destination D23, we can share that photo and kind of go back to this and just put a pin in it. But once I show that photo, if I can find it, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Is on the direction of what Tomorrowland needs to go towards, whether it's going to be a Tron land or it's going to be based off Fantastic Four, because they're both placed in that retro futuristic. Obviously, Tron's more futuristic, but I don't know. Fantastic Four kind of felt like that way as well. So
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I feel like honestly, Tomorrowland has a lot of work that needs to be done, and there's a lot of potential there. It's just picking the right direction that Disney has to take, and it's whether it's in segments or if it's the whole kit and caboodle.
yeah,
As long as it gets done.
and I kind of feel it's going to be, and I'm being gracious here. I think it's going to take a 3-year project. I really honestly do. Because a great friend of the channel, Hey Ricky, did a video, and he kind of did the ins and outs of Tomorrowland, and there's a lot of infrastructure that would have to be either relocated, filled in. There's tunnels underneath that don't get used anymore hardly at all. So there's a lot of problem solving. Just because they tear down physical buildings that we can see does not mean the underground is going to be any more easy, because there's a lot of issues with that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And compliments here to Johnny Ace. Scott Gustin just posted the Emperor entering the pool party right now, and I had to bring it up. Sure enough, there's Emperor Cusco as the llama going into Typhoon Lagoon. So that's awesome. I think that's really cool how they can incorporate the Emperor's New Groove, have the characters there for the pool party, utilize Typhoon Lagoon. So I think that's really cool.
Oh, 100%. I'm surprised they haven't made an attraction off that.
Yeah, like that alone should be like I mean, that's awesome. And then we got Capture the Magic in the house. What's up, fellas? What's up, Capture the Magic? Welcome in. And Kevin Davis, welcome in. Says Netflix K-pop Demon Hunters is popular right now, but I do believe the Oscar voters is going to give it to Zootopia 2 for best animated feature to end their drought in this category. It's interesting with that, because do you feel like that it should be based off of like the Academy straight decision of who gets best, or if it should be like popularity of like what is really the best movie or animated movie of the year? I know OG would say there shouldn't even be an animated category. They should all just be in one. If an animated film is great, then it should just be up with the big dogs.
That's what I kind of am pointing towards, but I'm also pointing towards if you had both sides and you kind of did a poll, and whatever poll was more like had more votes in the positive direction, that's how I would look at it. Give variety. Don't single something out, especially on something like that. Because, for example, like OG, like you mentioned with OG, the thing I would look at, are you going to base off a movie like that? And again, this is just a hypothetical. I'm not saying they would ever do this, but something that popular like a Demon Hunters, would you really put that against a Tom Cruise Mission Impossible movie? Does it really make sense? I don't know. So I think having multiple polls on something would be a better option than having just single categories. So
yeah, I think it just depends on like one's own preference.
Definitely.
Kyle's thoughts said Fantastic Four makes sense for Disneyland. I feel if you cut the Intervention building and half of Autopia, you will have land for an e-ticket Fantastic Four ride. Yeah, honestly, if you cut the whole entire Autopia, you could have a full-on land in general. Like, I think there's a lot that could be utilized in Tomorrowland, because there's a lot right now. Yes, it is still being utilized. It is popular, and Disney is still going to kind of capitalize on that. But in time, I think eventually it's going to have to go, because Disney is going to want to drive heavy IP. And like literally just with today alone at Destination D23, with all the new movies and stuff coming out, Disney's going to want to capitalize on that. Definitely.
I 100% agree. And going into that discussion, having, because we've talked about it, that spaghetti bowl of people mover tracks, monorail tracks, you got the Autopia track. We've talked about it, possibly having like Arendelle in that section because you got the lagoon right there. But, as much as people probably would not like it, because I think Tomorrowland needs so much help, and I think every Disneyland park, domestically and around the world, should have a Tomorrowland. I would not be opposed to having a Tron light cycle put in our Tomorrowland if it takes up the footprint of Autopia. I'm okay with that. You could still have the lagoon and kind of have like a Tron Ares type water show at night, and still have the lagoon still there. That could just be a water feature of the attraction, kind of, keep it there. And I can see Arendelle, if they don't put it in that section. Bricky, again, shout out to Hey Bricky, he did a video a long time ago, and he said in that Lilo and Stitch parking lot they could put Arendelle. So, and that would be behind Tiana's and Winnie the Pooh and all that. So
Yeah. And we got Keep It Real with Dan. Welcome in. And he said, no more news about Tropical America's Monstropolis or Piston Peak. What a disappointment. Yeah, I thought for sure like they were going to make some sort of update with those moving forward. Now, again, we still have tomorrow. So again, I don't want to give anybody's hopes up, but I mean, there's still a possibility. I know with Monstropolis, they did give out a little piece of news yesterday that the third-party animation studio that works with Monsters at Work is going to do the animation for the attractions for Monstropolis. And honestly, I don't know how I really feel about that. I don't know why Pixar wouldn't work on it themselves. I mean, they did Cars, they did Cars Land, they did Toy Story Land. Like, why wouldn't they do Monsters Inc?
100%. See, that's just another question of scratching our heads. And in there, I thought I heard that they're trying to put together another Cars movie. Is that something that's hypothetical, or is that something in the works?
So I don't think it's a Cars movie, but I think it's a Cars like series.
Okay, so that could be the justification. If we don't hear, and that's a long time to wait, but if we don't hear anything by D23 or even before that, you can guarantee boots on the ground we're going to hear something about that TV series at D23, and that's going to tie in the Piston Peak somehow.
Yeah, but going back to what your concerns and questions earlier, when you said when we go down to Florida, are we going to see any like scaffolding or any kind of structures for the Piston Peak? And I think even before then, we're definitely going to see a lot of like bone structure to that.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, 100%.
See, Capture the Magic says, I think the Oscars are about as important as being voted prom king in high school. That is so very true. That is so very true.
So
Mic drop on that one.
Oh, so Jared is basically hinting at he was voted prom king. That's what he's saying. Okay. I can see that, Jared. I can see that. Okay.
That's great. So we are coming in a little over 3 hours of a live show. I actually think this is my longest live show of Citrico Central, but do you know what? I enjoyed every second of it. Conductor, is there anything else that you want to cover that you have on your mind or that I may have missed before we skedaddle?
No, I think we covered everything we had to cover for day one of Destination D23. I cannot wait to be back tomorrow to talk about the other half, whatever they announce. So I'm super excited about that. But I think more to the point, I think the most important things that we covered today, and I have to say the top tier is that D23 event next year. because that's something where it's so massive that they have to announce dates a year prior to the event to get people ready. That's how crazy it
And
is. And,
honestly, oh no, finish what you're saying.
oh no, no, no. And like we showed, look at some of the people in the chat that booked hotels. Me and George already booked our hotels, and that was a power struggle. And that's not even the tickets yet.
That's not the tickets. That's my worry. Literally minutes after the fact it was announced, all of Harbor and Catella is booked for a year out next August.
Yeah.
2026. So yeah, I mean that's not even the D23 tickets themselves. So yeah, that got me kind of worried. But you know what? That conversation actually gave me an idea that obviously we're going to come back with another live for tomorrow. Yeah, we're probably going to get a lot more content, especially tomorrow if they announce something for Villains. Like Villains, we probably can do a whole entire live just on that alone. And then they're also going to do Beyond the Spires, talking about all the Disney castles. And we may get some news about the new Abu Dhabi park with that one.
So I want to ask you about that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Is what time is that going to be at?
Okay, so let me check that. Let me see.
Because if that's
the villains one was at 9:05 to 9:50, so it's like a 45-minute session. Now let me see. Okay, that just gives that. Let me see what the. Okay, I don't know why I do that to myself. Just go on the regular website, George.
It's all good. No, the reason why I'm saying, why George is looking that up, those two topics are going to be probably the mass majority of our live stream tomorrow on Citrico Central is Villains and whatever they say about the Spires. Because again, I'm with George on this one. I honestly do believe that something is going to be said about the castles, some type of update. And again, obviously it might surround the Abu Dhabi castle, since it is going to be indoors. So we could see a total different, version of the Disney Cinderella castle.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be about all the castles around all the Disney parks, including us at home in Anaheim. So that one alone is going to be very interesting to me.
Absolutely. So Capture the Magic says, mine meant something though, conductor.
I'm sure it did, Jared. I'm sure it did.
Okay, so yeah, Villains is at 9:05 a.m., runs to 9:50, 45 minutes, and then Beyond the Spires, an insider look at Disney castles. Now, again, this could be something, it could not, but we're going to treat it like it is, because we're not going to because that would be the one time we leave it go. And that would be something big, of an announcement. That's at 2:50 p.m.
Perfect.
So that's at that, and that's on East Coast time. So 1. So that's at 11:50. And it's then it'll run to 3:20. So that would be 12:20. So anything after 12:20. So we could actually, I say maybe we do our live. If you're done, are you good for 1 p.m.?
I am.
West Coast time?
I am. I'll be here.
Right. So folks, mark that on your calendars for tomorrow. Follow us on social media. We'll give you all the coverage as we possibly can at 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. East Coast time. We're going to go live again, and we're going to cover hopefully some more park news, crossing our fingers with Villains and the Castle Spires. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a good time. As I said, this was like almost 3.5 hours of a live, but you know what? I enjoyed every single minute of it, because I think honestly, this is the best live that I've had on Citrico Central thus far. And actually having this conversation with you and every conductor and everybody in the chat, I think I would like to do another live separately after Destination D23 is over, and we get more in depth of talking about D23, the Ultimate Fan Event.
Oh, 100%.
Forward, like how we're gonna prep, what is our game plan? Because I think honestly, that was like our great conversation, and I think that was the most where everyone was involved. So I think honestly, we're gonna do another live, at least, and maybe with a few other people, but at least with Conductor and I, where we're gonna talk about our game plan and everything with D23, because that's gonna be fascinating.
Oh yeah, and shout out to George for going for being the trooper and going this long. Like I said, almost 3.5 hours. We are 10 minutes away from 3.5 hours on this live stream. And again, I 100% agree with George. We got a lot of questions about D23. I feel like we answered a lot, but there's so much more we need to answer. Obviously, George is, I'm going to call him the expert at it because he's already been at the event. I've never done it, so I'm learning things as we're talking about it. But I think it does deserve at least a 2-hour minimum live stream on that, so everyone can know what to do, how to prepare, just everything about it. Because it, like George said, it's pure chaos booking the tickets. After that, it's like a breeze in the wind. But before that, it's Armageddon times 100. So 100% agree with that.
Yep. So really quick, I have to make a minor correction because see, this is why I have Abby, because she takes care of the schedule because I can't remember shit. Okay, so actually we have a lunch meetup tomorrow at DCA at 2:20. So
Okay.
it's going to be it'll be an evening live, if that's fine. Perfect.
Yeah,
okay. So this is what happens, folks, when I give you a specific time. It ends up changing anyway. So this is what's going to happen. When tomorrow comes and the news drops, look out, hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on Citrico Central. You will get notified, but we are definitely going to go live tomorrow here on Citrico Central. Conductor is going to join me, and possibly maybe some other folks that are wanting to jump on. If not, it'll be the two of us again, because we are going to cover the day 2 of Destination D23. So disregard the 1 p.m.
Yes.
So we will update you on that when it gets a little closer. But in any case, Conductor, thank you so much for joining. This was a blast. I actually enjoyed this. I couldn't wait to do this live today, and I can't wait to do it tomorrow.
Oh, me too. Again, it's always great having you, whether you're a guest on my channel or in this case, I'm a guest on your channel. Again, I feel like we kind of went another 2-3 hours, which is insane. It just goes to show that when you're talking about something fun like the theme park, speculation, D23, the whole 9 yards, you can really just lose yourself when you're on a live stream and lose track of time.
Yes,
That's when you know it's freaking awesome. And, I do want to quote something George has said about the time schedule change. At least you're not as bad as Disney and saying, okay, here's my budget. Here's the time we're going to do this. You didn't go into that much detail. So
yeah, see, I give you guys ample time. So there we
go. But George, it's always great hanging out with you. I cannot wait for part 2 tomorrow for day 2 of Destination D23 from Orlando. And shout out to Jason Hill, you lucky SOB, because I love you so much and you're probably having so much fun. But I'm your host. I'm Theme Park Conductor. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok at Theme Park Conductor. You can find me on X at Theme Conductor. You can also find me every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Conductor Sunday live stream, where I have George from Citrico Central, so many others, OG, and just to name a few, Tommy Toon World, and Jared from Capture the Magic on, where we talk everything theme park related. I know I've kind of been lacklustering a little bit on the live streams, but I am going to be doing lives, especially TikTok lives from Halloween Horror Nights that starts this coming Thursday, which I cannot wait, from Hollywood. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely follow this guy on TikTok, Instagram, on all social media platforms. Check out his YouTube channel. It's phenomenal. I'm also a guest on there. And again, shout out to Jason Hill, Lucas Kim, Drew the Disney Dude, Jack from DSNY, all the people that we know that are down there covering boots on the ground, covering Destination D23. And before I go, I just have to do my quick little plug-in. I am an affiliate of Magic Candle Company. If you are missing out of that Disney magic of being in the parks, Magic Candle Company got you covered. They have a plethora of many different items, from candles, soaps, oils, sprays, anything, you name it, they have it. Go to magiccandlecompany.com. Use my promo code Citrico15 for 15% off your entire order. Just put Citrico15 upon checkout. And that's just not a one-time deal, folks. That is every time you purchase items from Magic Candle Company. Use Citrico15. You'll get 15% off every single time. And again, Conductor, thank you so much for joining. It was a blast. And thank you, everybody who joined in on the live, participated, watched, whatever floats your boat. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. Again, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. There's a lot more content coming out on the horizon of Citrico Central. And I'm George, the Disney Italiano. And as I always say, in Disney Italiano fashion, stay safe, stay healthy, stay Disney. Italiano out.